Hello, it's me, the Unapologetic Geek. Hopefully you're seeing this. And today we're going to talk about movie dads in movies. And also there might be a few TV dads thrown in there. So it's not just me, there is an us. So let me go ahead and introduce my co-hosts. They're from the From Here to Paternity podcast that I do every couple of weeks. They are Scott, Damien, and Joe. Say hi, guys.
Hello.
So,
Guten Tag.
If you've listened to our podcast, you know that we tend to be pretty explicit. And I'm just going to go ahead and put the warning out there. We might be a little explicit here and there, but we're going to try to keep it PG. And try. I don't know if we'll succeed, but we'll try. And also in the comments, do the same, please. Just be nice. And I guess we can let, people are going to like slowly come in, and I see we've got Lance. He was actually here a long time ago, but there's Lance. Hi, Lance.
It's early.
Yes. And then Keith. Hello. Let's see who else we got. I love this StreamYard. I haven't used it before, so this is all new to me. Zoops is here.
Is super. Hey, Lance.
And
Hello.
I thought I saw somebody. Yeah, here we go. We got Nicole Baker. Hi, Nicole. Glad to see you. Donovan Belair.
Hey, Nicole.
Hello. Indy. Awesome. Nice to see you. Okay, so like I said, we're going to talk about movie dads. Just dads in movies. And I have a feeling this is going to be 80s and 90s heavy because that's just the generation we are. But you never know. We'll see what happens.
It is what it is.
It is what it is. So it's not necessarily the best dads or the worst dads. It's just our favorite. And I think that was my call to action. So we'll see what everybody says. And instead of me, well, actually, you know what? It's my podcast. It's my show. So I'm gonna start it off. And I'm gonna start off with an easy one and a relevant one. Gotta chase that algorithm. Scott Lang, Ant-Man. I think he's a good dad. And the reason I think he's a good dad is because everything he does in all three movies, everything is basically in service to his family, like to his daughter that he's trying to stay connected to, even though, you know, he was in prison and then he was in the quantum realm and blah, 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 blah. But even in the second movie, he was trying to do things for Hank and Hope, you know, people that he treated as family. So I think he was just a good all-around dad. He doesn't have superpowers. He's not a superhero, but he's trying his best just to keep his family together. And of all the superheroes in the Marvel universe, he's the only one who actually has succeeded in doing that. Like, his family is still together. Spoiler alert for the last Ant-Man movie, but they're still together. So what do you guys think? Do you like Scott Lang?
I do.
I think.
I agree.
Go ahead. Of my almost 30 list, I completely forgot about him. List of 30 actors. And so when you said that, I was like, oh, how did I not even think about that one?
Yeah, Scott, just so you know, Scott is the overachiever in this group. He probably has the longest list. Mine is like 10 long, maybe.
Yeah, that's about mine too.
Scott's the anal one.
Yeah.
And Zuper, here. Zuper, I was talking about Marvel. Bruce Wayne does actually have a family, despite the fact that he's kind of like, he wants to be portrayed as a loner. He's always got a big family. He's always got a Bat family. I don't think you see that too much on the screen, except for maybe like Batman Forever or something. But you know, the less we talk about that movie, the better.
Actually, Lance, well, he's not a dad in the movies, but in the
he
comic,
will be.
Yeah, that's right. I think they are bringing in Damian Wayne. They're
bringing in Damian Wayne in the next Batman.
But yeah, he adopts, right? He's an adopted dad, right? And he doesn't, but I had also I love Batman, but like psychologically, there's a zoom. Psychologically, I think Batman has a lot of issues in bringing in the fact that he is bringing his family into like really, really dangerous like places. So, and like like, hey, children, let's take small children and make them face like really, really dangerous situations, even to the point of getting one of his children killed. So, yeah, like I've got a paradoxical love for Batman.
Who doesn't? We all do.
Right?
Yeah.
But Lance does bring up a good point. Tony is also a dad. He sacrificed everything for his daughter. So
Yeah.
fair.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, hey, check it out. Martial Arts Film Freak is here. A little peek behind the scenes. He and I are actually going to work on a collaboration soon. It probably won't come out for like 6 months or something because my schedule's pretty full. But I've got this movie Inframan, which is the ultimate in science fiction. So,
Uh-huh.
I've been trying to
That's
get
gonna be
him to
exciting.
do a collaboration with me for years. So we're finally doing it. And if you can hear this, thank you. I'm glad you're here, even if you're not really listening. What else we got?
There's someone at work watching while with a customer.
Yeah, he does that. Okay, so what about you, Scott? Let's go to Scott next.
So
Since you've got the longest list, go ahead and start.
Just one,
Right.
just one at a time. Though,
I know,
Scott.
one at a
Just
time.
one at a
I
time.
know.
You don't
We
get to
can
like go
take-
10 at a time or anything.
No, when Eric first brought this up, I was kind of in the same situation as Nicole. I was like, wait, what dad? What dad should I bring up? Like, are there any movies that I watched that with dad? So at first it was really, really hard. But then once I started like really thinking about it, then they started like really like,
Yeah, once you come up with one or two, then the floodgates open. Yeah.
yeah. And so I'm going to start with I'm going to look over here because I got like my little like word file over here of my little list. But I'm going to start with probably one of my all-time favorites that I have to watch at least once a year. Favorite movies, all that stuff, is Darren McGavin, who played Old Man Parker, the dad in A Christmas Story.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
That's a good
One of
that's a
my
good choice.
all-time
Mhm.
favorites. And like one of my favorite lines is like when Ralphie gets caught, saying fudge. And we all know where he learned that word from,
Yeah.
but when they say it was his friend and his friend gets like beaten
on the
down.
phone, yeah.
What did I do, Mom? What did I do? Oh my God. Poor Schwartz, right? But like, and then also everyone's like, yeah, if he learned it from a friend, it would have been Schwartz, right? But like, yeah, absolutely. His dad, like, when he's like messing with the furnace and all that. But like, to me, like as
It's a clinker.
and he's an old man,
Close the damn
Oldsmobile
man
man.
down.
Like he's just great. I think he's a great dad. Yeah, exactly, Indy. He didn't say fudge. And so to me, he's kind of that like nostalgia dad that I think people like. He wasn't a perfect dad. I definitely like that they show his foibles as well as his like positives. And to me, it made him a very realistic dad.
But he definitely cared about his kids, and you could tell and was paying attention to what his kids wanted. Because even though Mother Dearest was all kinds of against that Red Ryder BB gun, what does Dad go and do?
Oh, shoot.
Dad buys the Red Ryder BB gun.
That's right. And
So,
and why does he do it? Because he had one, and it's this
he
way
had
of
one,
forming
yeah.
this bond, right?
Yeah,
This
exactly.
connection.
He connects.
Right,
yeah,
right.
Exactly. Yeah. That's very personal to me because my dad kind of did the same thing one year, but
Oh, that's awesome.
so it was after the divorce, but it was still, I got a BB gun. I had one at 8, so yeah.
About the same age as
Yeah.
Ralphie, actually.
I think
Yeah,
Ralphie
no.
was 9 in the movie or something like that.
Close
wasn't he?
enough. Yeah.
9.
I
Yeah,
don't
anyway.
remember.
Yeah.
Anything else about the dad from Christmas Story? I can't even remember his name.
No. His name, like I looked it up. His name is Old Man Parker
Oh, okay.
in the movie. Yeah.
Hmm.
Oh,
Well, before we
yeah.
move on,
I'm that anal. I got the actor's name, the
And the
character
character's
name,
So
and
do
then
I.
the movie that they.
I did that for a
were
couple of
from.
them. Yeah, like a
Yeah,
couple of them I
I
didn't know
have
their
that
names.
too
I
on my
looked them up.
list. So
I tell you, I am anal.
Okay.
Like,
Before we move on to the next one, just a couple of comments here. We got Dr. Robinson from Lost in Space. Hi,
That's
John,
good,
by the way.
yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
The movie or
And
the
also,
show?
probably the show. Probably the original show.
No.
Although the dad in the
Yeah.
new show was actually pretty good too. I can't believe I didn't think of Hawkeye. You're right. Hawkeye is also a good dad, and he's got a big family. And yeah. Now he's got a new, like, adopted daughter, sort of. Let's see. So Nicole also says Gomez, of course. Very supportive
That's
of
on
his
my.
very
That's
weird
actually
family.
on my list.
That's on my list
Oh,
too. Yeah.
Okay, but
on
before
my
anybody
From
else
the
spoils our list.
1996 movie, yeah. So, or 1995.
No,
What
I
movie
love
was
it.
that?
I love it. Like, yeah, no,
Yeah.
like I think like to kind of go with what Nicole said, like, why is Gomez on your list then?
Are you asking me or?
Yeah.
Oh, because I mean, he loves his kids. He puts things aside to do what, and put their needs first. And I mean, he loves his wife, and it's a very strong, family connection between them all. It's just like, and he seems to be like the center, cog that holds it all together, if you will. But yeah, he genuinely cares about everyone in his family, and you can see it in the movie, especially in, like, with Fester and everything, and all of the horrible things that he tries to do, and he's still like, I love you, my brother, so
No, this is true of Gomez in
Yeah.
like every iteration, like in the original TV show, in the movies, even in the animated movies that recently came out that aren't that great, but I had to watch them because I had a kid. Gomez character is pretty much universal every single time. He's a great dad. He loves his family. Everything. He's always trying to teach his kids how to be better at what they are without like denigrating their quirks. I mean, it's the Addams Family, so they're all very quirky, but like he's really good at supporting them and trying to teach them at the same time. And I find that really endearing and heartwarming.
Exactly.
That's yeah.
Can I point out one thing to kind of connect it to the podcast that we recorded a couple weeks ago when we talked about like the concept of dads and relationships. So Gomez has really high conversation and a healthy level of conformity in the sense that like there's pride in the Addams family, right? Like we are a family, we are like, and we identify as Addamses, right? And there's that like family bond, and it's a healthy level of conformity without cloistering the children, while still allowing them to grow into who they are, right? So he's like I think that's why we all, even though they're odd and quirky and not like your Leave It to Beaver, why we all love Addams or Gomez Addams is because he is that what we would like aspire to be. He allows his children to grow, supports his children, loves his family, yet has a strong bond with the identity of the family. Sorry, that's my little like.
No, that's right. That's good.
And I loved how he would like fully support his kids and what they were doing, even if he didn't understand what the heck that was.
Yeah,
like trying to kill each other, and he's like, "Oh, okay, well, you need an axe. Here you go."
Yeah. Hey, Pugsley, why is that apple on your head? Wednesday's gonna shoot the arrow or whatever. Oh, here you
have
go.
fun, kids. Here, use this.
Don't be late for dinner.
Here, use this crossbow instead. This one's better.
Right. Okay, so let's move on.
And I think Joe loves it just because I think Joe is of everybody would want to exist as Addams Gomez.
Oh, absolutely.
Well, since you're bringing me into the conversation, I'm probably the least prepared for this. My
Joe's a
main
busy
two that
man.
The main two that popped up just from growing up were Gomez and Herman.
Herman Munster. Yeah.
Munster. Yeah. Somebody else mentioned him earlier.
Yeah.
Lance, of course.
Yes.
Yeah, those were my my main two because I loved watching those shows growing up.
Yeah.
I actually preferred the Munsters to the Addams Family, but that's just because Herman,
heresy.
so funny. Oh, it's my personal preference. Come on, man.
What's that?
Herman Munster was it for me, man. That was like the guy, you know. So anyway.
So Joe, did you see the Rob Zombie Monsters? Did you see it?
Not yet. No.
No, I haven't either. I was just wondering.
I'm going to, but I mean, I kind of like. I mean, from what I saw of like preview, it's like going like early on, right?
Right.
It's kind of like a the show kind
of like a precursor to the show. Yeah.
Yeah. So when they're younger and all that, so it's you know, however he takes it, I'll probably enjoy it, even if it's crazy campy. But you know.
I got one more I got to show here. Martial Arts Film Freak says Cameron's dad, who we don't actually meet in the movie. All we know is that he has that Ferrari that he wipes with a diaper. Like, that's all we know about
Just the concept of wiping anything with a diaper. Like I just about how anal I am, but then I hear things like that. And I'm like,
got a cloth diper.
Yeah, no,
soft.
Not used, of course.
Yeah. Right. Clean cloth diper because they're soft.
But no. Like when I sit there and I think about like how anal I can be sometimes, and I'm like, oh wait, no. There's nothing wrong with me because like I'm not wiping anything down with a cloth diaper. I'm not going to that extent. So. But no, also like with the Munsters to kind of build off, like I couldn't remember his name, so I had to look it up. But and I'll probably tear it up. But Fred Gwynn, I think his name is. Like, what a phenomenal actor! I think that's another reason why Herman Munster is such a like just a great dad. So,
yeah. What was the other show he was in? Was it where he was a cop?
Oh.
Was he in Car 54? Was that it?
Yes,
man, I don't remember.
He was.
It's like
I'm looking. I've got it up right now. It's Car 54.
Yeah, because growing up, I watched a lot of old TV shows.
Oh, Nick at Night.
I was addicted to Nick at Night.
Yeah. So that. We'll go around. I don't think we hit Damien yet.
Go ahead, Damien.
Oh, okay. Well, all right. Yeah. Since we already talked about Gomez, he was actually number 1 on my list. I would go with Mick Guff from Juno, played by J.K. Simmons. I think he was extremely supportive of his daughter through that entire movie. And you know, I mean, a lot of fathers might just completely go off the rails when their teenage daughter comes home pregnant, and he instead stood up and was like, okay, well, we're gonna get through this. You know, I'm gonna be here for you, and we're gonna handle this, and you know, move on. So and it's gonna be part of our lives, kind of thing. And that to me just shows how much he just really put his daughter ahead of his own feelings, kind of thing. And you know, put that whole situation and her health ahead of how he might feel. So, and that's good parenting right there. So yeah,
he's like the epitome of like rolling with the punches. Like, take
whatever
comes and deal with it.
Yeah,
be calm.
Yeah. Stoic, even, you know, just gonna take it and do what has to be done. So.
Yeah, no, I like that one because and I thought about that one too. Like, but like putting your own ego aside. Right, having the ego strength so that you're not feeling like it's an attack on your ego as a dad, or like, you know, like, or your feelings of being a failure as a dad because I'll let this happen or whatever.
Yeah.
Like that shouldn't come into it. That shouldn't be a part of it. And so it takes a resilient and quote unquote strong dad to be able to do that. And so I love like that modeling of healthy dad behavior. So.
Oh, here's a good one I just have to mention.
Oh, I saw that one.
Just have to put that one out there.
I was like, that was so great. That was so great. I would have never have thought of that. And Nicole, I saw you post that.
Like,
if I'd thought of that, it would have been on my list.
So great.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah. So great. So great.
Well, before we move on, I just want to say hi to a couple of people. I saw that Thrash is here. So hi, Thrash.
Hey, Thrash.
Hey, Thrash.
Thrash.
Baked Bean is here. Hello. John is here, and he has a great quote from the Addams Family. I have seen the unholy maggots which feast in the dark recesses of the human soul. Morticia says, oh, they're at camp. I'm not gonna post that one because it'll spoil one of mine. Yeah, I've never seen their list, by the way. So the only ones I'm not gonna spoil are my own. I might spoil their lists.
Yeah.
Okay,
Fine.
so I think that's good for now. Who's next? Joe. Give us a name.
Me? Give a name.
Yeah, we're saying names here. We're taking names.
Even if you have to like think of it on the fly, I'm sure you can come up with
well,
something.
the one that I thought of, as an yet again leading into the unprepared turns of life. At least a movie that I enjoyed was Logan.
Oh yeah.
With Wolverine finding out he has a daughter, so to speak.
Oh yeah.
It's like a clone, but yeah, it's basically
yeah. I mean, it's still, to me, it still falls under he's taking her, and trying to protect her, and
he very
guide
quickly
her through
learns how to go first.
Yeah. As I tried to like not, find ones that are the typical ones, and I don't know, just that dynamic of that dangerous life and all the crap that Wolverine's been through, and to find out that he has a kid and what's going on in his life at the same time. I just thought it was a pick that
Wolverine.
I liked.
That's you know what, Joe, I cannot agree with you more, man. And that the, not to spoil anything, but how the movie ends, that is one of the most fatherly things that I would ever imagine. Like, it was phenomenal. Like, and on top of it, the emotion behind the ending and the choices that you make and all that 100% come from, like, I am a dad. So I completely agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
Great call. I didn't even think about that one. Great pick.
And who wouldn't want their dad to like go kill a bunch of mercenaries with his adamantium claws?
Exactly.
Well, I mean, as a kid, isn't that what you kind of view or I guess you guys more would view your dad as that superhero who's out there
totally.
to
My dad
do
was absolutely a
anything for you.
superhero.
Yeah.
Come on, Jason Mewes said it best to us. Wolverine, shink, shink.
Schnickety, schnickety,
Sneaky snout. That's right. There you go.
Okay, so I guess it's my turn again. Well, since it was almost mentioned in the comments, I'm going to go ahead and say from Deep Space Nine, it's Benjamin Sisko. I know, like the comments, somebody said Rom, but it's Benjamin Sisko. It's got to be Sisko.
Okay, so we're already into TV now. Okay, great.
It's okay. We can mention TV.
Yeah.
I just didn't want anybody else to mention it first in the comments.
Gotcha. Okay. He was a good dad in that.
He's a great dad, and like he spends the first few seasons of the show like trying to groom his son into being like Starfleet, because that's just what you do when you're in Starfleet. And then when his son comes to him and like kind of guiltily admits to him after like torturing himself over it that he doesn't want to be in Starfleet, that he wants to be a writer, his dad's like, oh, okay, yeah, that's what you're good at, let's do it. And I just think that's a fantastic dad.
Yeah.
And there's even a couple of episodes where he like puts everything aside. He puts like the fate of the galaxy aside just to spend some time with his son. And come on, that's a good dad. So anybody have any thoughts on Benjamin Sisko?
No? I think you covered it for the most part.
Yeah.
That's
okay.
Yeah.
All right, Scott, go ahead. I know you've got a long list.
Okay. So because we're on, Tug's like stream.
James T. Kirk.
He was a dad for like one movie.
Yeah.
No, let's
but he
be
loved
honest.
his son. He did.
No, let's be honest. Let's be honest. He was maybe a dad in one movie, but he was like dad of a lot more.
Oh, I'm sure he was a dad forever.
There's some light green children running around out
there.
Yeah, I was going to say something, but I think I might have to hold on to that till we record for our... Got to keep it PG here.
I want to put in the I want to go in a bit of a sci-fi kick. I want to bring out Dennis Quaid and Louis Gossett Jr. as Willis Davange and Deriva, Jerry,
yes.
Sheik, and Enemy
Jerry.
Mine.
Excellent movie.
Absolutely.
Excellent.
Good
Yeah,
choice.
excellent
Yeah.
fathering right there, dude. Yeah, that
Yeah.
was.
You make me mad.
That
I didn't
one-
think of those.
I'm mad I didn't think of that too. Yeah, it's like dang, that's one of my favorite sci-fi movies of all time
It's
too.
phenomenal,
So,
right?
Yeah.
I know. I had to really think about, because I'm not a huge sci-fi buff. I enjoyed sci-fi, but it's not like one of my like things that I research or think about or whatever.
Oops.
But like that one. But yeah, I just so I really had to think about that. Like
David.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the
David.
sci-fi My Two Dads.
Yeah, well, and like the fact that you have two people that are like, to me, I love it because it's to me it goes to something really deeper, and like again, it speaks to the stupidity that we have in our battling each other, like the fact that we go to war to one another, like, and we see each other as enemies, but in reality, we're just people trying to raise families, and not to go political, but like we get distracted by all the stupidity and forget that we're each like just people like one another, and we're all just trying to like get through this the best way we can. And Enemy Mine is just a wonderful movie, because when you see him honoring this alien child and he fathers him, like he adopts that child 100%, right? And so like it's like, to me, I just like,
and that patchwork outfit he made for him, that's some serious sewing skills right there,
right?
He perfected it.
Yeah.
Well, he learned a lot by like having to sew all those shells together to make his home.
Yes,
From the meteor storms.
That
It was a process.
yeah. Learning.
Okay, I don't know if this one's on anyone's list, but it's another one that I feel like should have been on mine.
Oh yeah,
Attic to
it should have been on my time. 100%. Great one, Thrash. Great call.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Lance. I miss my dad too. He died around the same time.
Yeah, I miss
Actually
my dad
died
too.
in 2009, 2010, somewhere in there.
Yeah. I lost mine in 2016. So. The crying game of sci-fi. Oh my god. So much. It's a damn good movie.
It is.
Well
hey, I did a
done.
video on it. Why don't you go check it out? No.
Right.
Okay, so I guess now it's your turn, Damien.
Okay. So I don't know, number 3 or number 4 on the list here. I'm gonna just go from the top, or from next one down. I'm gonna go with Chris Gardner from The Pursuit of Happiness, who was played by Will Smith. And I know a lot of people don't like Will Smith, but he's playing a character, of course. So in that movie, the dad, basically loses everything, becomes homeless, and has to figure out how to take care of himself and his son at the same time, his 5-year-old son. And he gets a job in like an investment firm as a intern, where they don't pay him, and so he's staying in a homeless shelter with his son. And he's just everything that he does, it's like he's putting aside the now for later kind of thing, because he knows he can create a better life for him and his son if he just works really hard at this, and he's going to get them out of this situation, and all of the sacrifices he makes and everything that he does along the way. It just shows a dad laying down his own comfort and needs for that of the future of his family, or of his son at least. So, and so I always go to that movie when I think about a good dad right there,
I've never actually seen that movie, because like
really
even the previews for the movie, I'm like, that's gonna make me cry. I don't want to.
It's a tough one. It is. And it will, a couple of times during it probably, but I mean, he just really is trying so hard through the whole movie, and he never gives up, and that's really Anybody else seen that movie? Scott, have you?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I absolutely have. No. Yeah.
Your take on the character? Yeah.
To me, like, and the thing that I like about the movie is it shows the hardship, right?
Yeah.
And you know, the sacrifice, right?
Yeah,
And then
exactly.
him, and also like, because he's not a perfect dad, because he like he sits there and, you know, will get upset because he's like, look, kid, like this is the situation, and it is what it is. And to me, like sometimes like being able to sit down with your child, and like we look at like things like Leave It to Beaver, where you just sit down and you have this calm little conversation. Like real dads, let's be honest, that's not every conversation is like that, right? You know, and so it's not a Ward Cleaver kind of like conversation. Like it's, we're all stressed, and you know, look, man, you got to do your part, right? We all have a part, and we're just doing the best that we can. And so like, to me, I like the honesty of the movie.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Joe, have you seen it?
Yeah, because you're talking about the conversations you have with your kids. I think I've mentioned this too, is like how I sometimes feel as a dad, I am exposing my son to the real world too early about things. Because you would love to have those Leave It to Beaver conversations where everything's going to be happy in the end and whatnot. But, you know, life is a struggle and life beats you down. And, you know, letting your kid know that and how to hopefully in a healthy way deal with that and those stresses, I think are important.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So whose turn is it now?
I think it's yours.
Is it my turn? Okay. Yeah, because I did want to kind of keep a Star Trek, or pull a Star Trek theme into when Eric went to Cisco, was Data and Worf.
Oh, good.
The two of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because yet again, it's the non-traditional fatherhood type thing. You know, him finding out he has a kid later on in life with Worf, and then, you know, Data wanting to find out, you know, what's he going to leave behind? You know, how's he going to contribute to the world and whatnot, and bringing in, and the difficulties of bringing in another person into the world, and having them find their own personality, their own path in life. So yeah, those were my two, but I didn't want to go there until somebody else went TV. So
well, and later in Picard, we find out that Data's a deadbeat dad because he, you know, abandoned his child through death. And so sorry, I love Data. I love, like, I think like Data is one of those characters. Data, like Spock, to me is like one of those like true characters of it that steal the show in a way.
He's my one of my favorites, I should say. Of Next Generation. But
absolutely.
Yeah, he was a very good dad. Especially when he's trying to save what was her name? Lul, her life. Yeah, Lul, when he was trying to save her life at the end there. But yeah.
Yeah, and that, okay, you know, her are allowing them to define themselves. You know, not put a label on who and what they are. You know,
Big Bean.
Yes.
So true.
Yes.
Yes.
So true.
Yes.
So true.
So true.
And it's a good thing Picard never really became a dad. The way he treated Wesley. Shut up, Wesley.
Shut up, Wesley.
So when I was coming up with this list,
get off the bridge.
My wife loves, like, I think from early childhood has had a Picard fetish. Like, she'll go like, so how soon is all of your hair gonna go? Like, when can we start doing the horseshoe? Yeah. I'm waking up in the middle of the night. She's shaving just the top of my head.
Plucking them out of your head.
I'm almost there.
Can you become British at all? Like, no. And so like, but no, like she wanted me to really.
The line must be drawn here, no further.
She wanted to
really
insist that Picard was like the father for everyone, and I'm like, well, he's a captain. That's sort of the role of a captain, not necessarily a father. Like,
well, that's why they have Captain's Day.
That's right.
Yeah, to celebrate it.
She really wanted me to mention Picard as a dad. So she was like,
I loved in I watch a lot of old Shakespeare stuff, and I've seen like Patrick Stewart when he was like in his 20s doing Shakespeare, and he was already bald. Like he's been bald his whole life.
Yeah.
But he owns it.
And thank God for him, because he's making us.
He wore a toupee to the
he has worn a toupee occasionally.
Yeah, to the what was it? The pilot, or not the pilot? It was the for Star Trek: Next Generation. It was the
casting.
The casting call. Yeah, he wore the toupee to it because he thought that they would want somebody with hair. So, but yeah,
it just doesn't look right on him.
It doesn't. No, I've seen the pictures. Yeah.
Wasn't there a flashback in one of the episodes where he was like
he's a kid.
Redhead. He was young. He was younger.
Yeah, he's in his 20s.
It was like an interaction between him and Beverly, I think it was.
Oh, that one.
I want to say
don't remember off the top of my head.
I can't remember if there was a toupee in that one.
I know there's like a picture in one of the movies, but it's actually like Tom Hardy and Patrick Stewart kind of like melded together.
Thrash brought up that Stewart wore a wig in I, Claudius. I'll have to
that
check
is
that
true.
one out.
He did.
I'll have to check that out.
And apparently he played Lennon in the 70s. I didn't know that.
Oh.
I didn't know that either.
Well, okay, so now it's my turn, and since somebody already chose,
I thought it was Joe's turn.
I just went.
No, Joe just picked it and work.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. My bad. I thought we were on.
Somebody already picked the first one on my list, so let's go ahead and go there. Henry Jones Sr., Sean Connery.
Yeah.
I don't know if he was a good dad, but he was definitely a favorite. Like, he was very distant from his son and didn't see the point. Like, there's that one scene where they're on the dirigible and Indy's all like, why don't we ever talk? We just have conversation. And Henry's just like, okay, so talk. And that's it.
Thanks, Dad.
I love the scene with the birds and the umbrella. It's Sean Connery. And how can you not love Sean Connery in everything that he ever does?
Yeah, pretty much.
So that's it. That's all I have to say about Sean Connery.
He's about the only person in what was that movie? The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. He was about the only person.
I love that movie.
That's a terrible, terrible movie, but I absolutely love it.
Oh, yeah,
it's one of those when I worked midnight shifts,
like,
and we had nobody coming in, like, and I would have like hours or whatever, like on the rare occasion, I'd pop that. That's one of those go-to movies. I would pop into the DVD player and just sit there as I'm waiting for someone to come in a crisis or whatever. And like, it was great. I love that movie.
Lance Chatham just pulled one of mine off the list there.
Which
Mr.
one?
Mom,
talk about it?
Keaton, Mr. Mom.
Oh, that's on my list too.
Well, you guys go ahead and talk about it. I haven't seen Mr. Mom since the 80s.
Scott, we'll share this one. I guess we can all share this one because it's all on our list. So you go ahead, Scott.
No, I love it because like, again, kind of like in our podcast, how we talk about like the roles of dads and things like that. To me, it just sort of shows kind of this transition that we've been evolving towards in family dynamics since the 80s. And that, you know, it's comedic, but I think in the 80s, it was just like, this is such an oddity. Men, you know, need to work and, you know, whatever. But we're starting to appreciate that though dads may, you know, like run the household differently, like there's a beautiful place for it, right? And we need to be, you know, more, you know, like we call, like, and to me also like the concept of Mr. Mom, like I hate that term because it's like moms are nurturing, but dads are too. And that's what that movie absolutely shows, is that dads have a place for nurturing, right? Yeah. We're emotional beings, right? Kind of like your Sean Connery comment, right? All right, we'll talk. Well, it to me, I just hear a broken man that doesn't know how to connect emotionally.
Exactly.
And Mr. Mom is like the counterpart. I love you, Brian. Like you bring up those two conflicting roles or whatever. So yeah.
I just like how he shows through a number of things his flexibility and ability to adapt and learn, and shows that there's he does it a different way, but it's still it works in the end, kind of thing.
Right.
Has to adapt to a completely different lifestyle. 100%. At first he fails, horribly, but then he eventually, comes out of his stupor and goes, you know what, I'm going to own this shit and get it fucking done. And he does, and the whole time he's like fighting off this neighbor lady who's trying to like get in his pants. And he's just like, yeah, you're beautiful and all, but no, thank you. It just shows his integrity as, as a person, and all that. And all while also having, these doubts about what's going on in his wife's career and whether or not she's seeing her boss and so on and so forth. So but it just shows how strong of a man he really is in the end when he can just say, no, I'm not gonna fall for any of this crap kind of thing, or I'm not gonna step out on my wife, and I'm gonna continue to be here for her and the kids and so on. So yeah, good dad. Any thoughts on that, Joe?
No,
I haven't seen Mr. Mom in a really long time.
Yeah,
I mean, I've seen it.
I haven't either. But
I think maybe the late 80s, early 90s was the last time I saw it.
I was gonna say it used to come on TV all the time in like the late 80s or early 90s, and I've probably seen it so many times.
Yeah, no, talking about it brings in like and
we used to have that vacuum from that friggin' movie, by the way. That big ass Kirby.
I do remember that.
Right, with the log.
What they call it, Jaws or something?
Yeah, they have the Jaws theme. I remember that.
Yeah.
No, and I
anyway,
like to go back to Tom's comment with the turning the Mr. Mom thing into who's the boss again, and to me, this is something we talk about in our podcast, and it's a little bit of a soapbox of mine, but like this concept of battling genders of being the boss of the house rather than being a partnership, right? And this breaking of the old construct of dad's the boss or mom's the boss, like whoever's the disciplinarian is the boss, right? And it's this battling, and whoever makes the money is the boss, right? That I'm glad to see that we're I don't think the concept of let me rephrase it, the title of who's the boss could work today, because we're kind of moving away from that, like income equals boss. Like, and I think we're moving in toward a better role of partnerships rather than, one person being in the lead. So.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, John.
Oh,
holy moly.
That's awesome. I bow to you. I don't know what else to say. Thank you. Like that means the world to me. It's great.
Throwing money at you.
Wow.
Okay, Joe,
I will dance.
Anybody?
I will dance if anybody wants to post money. Like I will be.
Dude, you're
I'll put on Tina Turner. I'll be your private dancer if you want to do.
You're gonna have to
do the truffle shovel, Scott.
You're gonna have to start a whole new page for
that'll be the Patreon, right? Yeah, that'll be in the Patreon.
Right.
Well, let's see. Like Mr. Mom was kind of like a gimme. So Scott, you can go next.
Okay. So I'm gonna say one person, but two roles. But hear me out, okay?
Okay.
So Mandy Patinkin, okay, as San Francisco in Alien Nation, to go with the sci-fi theme. Great, father, right? And also the difficulties of being an immigrant into the world, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And then Saul Bloom and Wish I Was Here, Zach Braff's being a 30s. I like, it's one of Zach Braff's like movies. He has these like generational movies starting with like Garden State and what have you. But Wish I Was Here, to me, I know it didn't get a lot of buzz or whatever, but I really loved that movie because it's and even Zach Braff in that movie. but like Patinkin is just like a phenomenal actor, and just like he was a great Jewish dad to me in that movie. So
I haven't seen that one. I haven't seen the Zach Braff movie. And Alien Nation, I haven't watched it in a while.
Yeah.
I'm gonna watch it again this year at some point because I want to do a video on it, obviously. But I do remember Mandy Patinkin as Sam, or George, depending on who you ask, was really good as a dad.
George. Yeah, he went by George.
Yeah, he as a person, from everything I've seen, is just a great overall human being.
Yeah, definitely.
Not just actor,
which is ironic.
Yeah.
But like, also, I didn't realize until maybe 10 years ago that was Mandy Patinkin. Like, I had no idea that was Mandy Patinkin.
Oh, I
blew my mind. This is the same guy who plays, the guy in The Princess Bride. And Criminal Minds. The same guy.
No, I sat there and I was like, I love, like, he's one of my like all-time favorite actors, all that stuff. And I was like, he's got to be a dad in something that I've seen, right? And so then, like, when I'm looking at like up his like stuff, like I came across Alien Nation, and I was like, oh, that's a great movie. I love that movie. And then the TV show was even better because you were able to go even further with it. Like, yeah, I loved that dad. And the fact that, like, I think maybe I like the TV dad more than even the movie because they were able to go a little bit deeper into it, right? But like his being an immigrant, but holding on to his culture and tradition and the importance of that. And then, educating towards, I just, to me, I thought that was a very dad role. Like, I think it's important to like pass on your traditions, to pass on your culture, like as you incorporate into a new one, to hold on to some traditions and stuff like that. And so,
absolutely,
yeah.
And Inigo Montoya, as Indy points out, is his name, is a good example of why you should never kill a dad.
Exactly.
Yes.
You killed my father. Prepare to die. My name is Inigo Montoya.
One of the greatest lines ever. Yeah.
Oh, Martial Arts Film Freak, thank you.
Oh, thank you
so much.
Oh, wow.
We really do have to go get some pints now.
Yep.
That's awesome. I wish I had a clip thing ready, but I didn't. I'm not even trying to do that yet. Maybe Retro Nerd Girl can show me. Okay. It's your turn, Damien.
Oh yeah, pointing down at me because I'm.
I just want to mention. Wait. Before we move on, I just want to mention with Martial Arts Film Freak, like what he brought up about Red. Like, to me, like I think I completely agree. Like about Red, and that again, he's not necessarily my like the style that I want to be, but like you see his heart, right? You see his and what he tries to pass on to the kids. I think he's not even just a surrogate dad to like, he literally becomes a surrogate dad to Hyde, but like he's also a dad to all of the kids, right? And I think that's a very important thing. Like, I think that like when we have kids, like when they have friends, especially when they're younger or even into teenagers, like you're a figure for all of them, and that makes you a really good person, right? And someone they can trust and come to. But anyways,
I just thought that was really funny. Thank you, Thrash.
Oh, all right. So moving on.
Yeah, your turn.
So my next one is Furious. Jason Furious Styles from Boys in the Hood. Played by Lawrence Fishburne. He's another one of those, of course, another one of those 90s movies, but just another one of those dads that I think of when I think of movie dads as being a good dad. He was tough. He was a tough father. Made his son do all those chores, but that, at the when he first moved to the hood with his dad, but that kept his son out of trouble, having to do all that stuff all the time. So yeah, it just showed how he saw his son as needing, purpose and a direction and to keep him out of trouble, and went about doing that, even though it may have been tough and it may have been, difficult for his son to endure, not ever having to deal with that before. And in the end, turns him into the man that he becomes later. and he teaches him to the importance of responsibility and confidence in himself, kind of thing. So, and that's just something that doesn't get brought up enough, I think, sometimes, is that these are important things that dads need to teach their children, and moms can teach their children too. It all takes that, that strength to say no, and to make sure that they do what they're supposed to be doing. So
that little speech he gives about the outside world and about all the liquor
Yeah.
stores and gun stores,
Yeah.
that blew my freaking mind as a teenager.
Yeah.
Mhm.
The wisdom that he imparts,
Yeah.
about things. And
I'm gonna have to go watch that again now.
yeah, it's been
I
a
know.
while.
I
Good
watched it
movie.
over and over again when I was younger, but I haven't seen it in shit. Oh, sorry. 15, at least 15 years. So.
Yeah, no, that was on my list. So
Wonderful.
but no, he's a great one, right? Like, and like you said, everything you said, like the discipline and everything, the things that were necessary for growing up in a very difficult environment in order to ensure that he's able to get out of it, right? So that he can be, or not even get out of it, but like not sink into it, right?
Not fall into that trap.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, so that like he can be one of those, like he's passing on this mantra so that his child can carry the torch to make the area a better place, right? So bye, Nicole.
Bye, Nicole. Thanks for hanging out with us. No, and also Fishburne had a very similar role. I don't think he was actually a dad. He was a professor in Higher Learning.
Yeah.
Another movie that kind of blew
that was
my
another
mind.
really good one. Yeah, that comes to mind. Yeah. He plays almost a father figure in that.
Definitely to the characters. Yeah.
I like this little speech about this is all a game. Don't you understand what this is just all a game, Yeah, it was he played a good role in that one too. Very talented actor.
Oh man, he's like he played
and of course
Marshall.
And of course The Matrix.
Right? Yeah. Like and
bring that up.
Well, and as Morpheus, he is a bit of a
father
figure, right? Because he's and again, it's the wise old sage, right? Role, which often gets portrayed by men or whatever, but like.
Or the wise old master.
Right. Yeah. And
Yoda.
Obi-Wan.
Yes. Yoda, Obi-Wan. Yeah.
Okay. Now you're really stealing mine because I got Frank Oz Yoda. No. That's fine. No, I love it. No, Frank Oz as Master Yoda. Right. And so I'll go ahead and I've got Ewan McGregor and Alec McGinnis as Obi-Wan Kenobi. Like, again, it's that wise old sage, but like they take a father figure kind of perspective or whatever. So, yeah.
Well, let's talk about it. Let's talk about let's talk about Yoda and Obi-Wan. They had children together.
Yoda. Okay, so first I cannot bring up Yoda without talking about bad lip syncing's the Seagull song, because that's just phenomenal. And then Obi-Wan or whatever, like what was it, the Bushes of Love or whatever, where he's talking about like where they're doing that. So first off, like like bad lip syncing, phenomenal job on those. But like Master Yoda, like you've got an orphaned boy who's raised by his uncle, right? And then, taken on by Obi-Wan Kenobi, and then raised by Yoda. So like he's got like multiple, like to me, I love that concept because it's that it takes a village concept that even if you do have a dad, like it takes multiple, like it takes a village. You really do need to have multiple people. And so,
Stop it now.
Or when Luke goes and sees him and they've got that like my stick is better than bacon. And so I don't want your stick. You can't have my stick. But no, like to me, it connects, right? Because, and I think it's one of the things that we love about Yoda, Master Yoda, is that though he's not a biological father, he is an adoptive father to all of those young Padawans, right? And he is so respected because, again, this is the role that men need to take more. Like, I think there was more of a modeling of it when we were kids and generations before, that we've kind of slipped away because we emphasize men in the workplace so much, but we need to emphasize men in the community. Like, now we're painted as you're either in the workplace or you're hurting kids, right? And so like there's this like distrust of men in community because we're not emphasizing as much the role of men in the community and our responsibility in the community. So,
and yeah, Anakin Skywalker didn't have a father, but he had a way of taking care of children.
You know what?
Yeah, it's true. You sure did. You took care of him all right.
That's right. But you know what, Zuber, you bring up a good like again, Anakin, like, and his decline, right? Because he's like taken from his mom, doesn't have a dad, like, and is constantly seeking that love, right? Which can lead to unhealthy ways of getting it. So
yeah, I think that Anakin is a case study in why it's important to have a father in your life.
Yeah,
the importance of fathers, because he didn't have one at all, and look how that turned out for him. So anyway,
wait, we talk about this because we've all talked about this in the podcast, so I have to bring it up. If you can, Eric, if you can highlight Thrash's Walking Dead post. Yeah.
Yep.
Like Rick in The Walking Dead.
Yeah. Thanks for pulling one of mine. Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
He's only got
Hey, Joe.
three.
No,
you
talk
turn
about
anyway,
it.
really.
No, talk
You need to
about
talk
it.
about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, with the whole concept of The Walking Dead and trying to raise a child in that environment, or it's a whole killer be killed mentality, and not to raise a complete monster, and to still instill that what it is to be human, I guess. With Carl, and even though he didn't get to do a lot of that with his daughter, and yet again taking the role of father for his daughter, even though he, spoiler alert, if you're late to the party, whether or not Judith was his daughter, right?
I don't think it even mattered to him.
It didn't. No. That's the
Yeah.
thing is she was family.
Yep.
And regardless, he loved his wife, and let bygones be bygones with that, because she thought he was dead, yada yada yada. But yeah, just that, and having to raise a child in that, I guess you can call monstrous situation, where throughout the show, I mean, all you see is how bad humanity can get, just trying to survive, and yet still finding a way to guide your kid in the right direction.
Right.
Joe, and you bring up a really good point, especially with Rick and his view of Judith, right? Because in there, he never sees her as anything other than his daughter, right? And even and throughout, right? In the community sees her as his daughter, right? Mm-hmm. And even like identifying like Carl and Judith as, like, again, spoiler alert, as like, Michonne's child, right? Like that, it becomes a point that biological parents no longer even really matter, because you're just fighting for the survival of the species, right? And so like parent isn't even this, like, we often emphasize the biological aspect of parent, but parent just becomes who raises you, right? And I think for a lot of us, like, we can agree, like, that biological parent doesn't mean anything if you're not raising your child, right? Or if you're not involved in raising your child, right? And that's that the person that raises the child is the one that is. And again, there's a lot of different things, not to say like there can be a lot of complex reasons why dads are not able to be involved and all this thing. So in those circumstances, I'm not knocking y'all or anything, like knocking those situations or anything like that. But like, we tend to see the importance of rearing versus, and you bring that up, but I've actually worked with people like, or let me rephrase this. I've known people that came from refugee situations where they literally thought their dad had died and that their siblings, like, or their children had died. And they started a new life, had new kids or whatever. Decades later, like, we're talking about almost half a century later, finding out that their husband's still alive because of social media and stuff like that. And then coming back together, and like how that impacts the family, how that, you know, all of the stuff and the, you know, what does this mean? All this different stuff, like all these different emotions come up. So we have this even today. So like this kind of changing our concept of what it is to be a father, what it is to be family is really, especially now that we have so many different, like, we don't have it here in the US, but there are so many different war zones out there that it's causing, you know, severe distress, like right now with, you know, and we're just going to see this on a repetitive basis. And so anyways.
Yeah. Cause going on with the raising of a kid, that's not yours. Cause I don't know if I want to jump in line here.
Hi, Lance.
Hi, Lance.
Thanks for coming.
Jumping ahead again. But Jonathan Kent, right?
Yeah.
You know, raising a child that is not yours, who in all, you know, compared to the rest of the world, I mean, you're raising somebody who could be viewed as a god, right?
Mm-hmm.
And instilling yet again a good moral system, you know, showing
humility
them the way and humility, you know, to raise a you know, a good kid, you know, a good person. And kind of sticking along with that, how you went Yoda, Professor X too, taking in kids whose parents have abandoned them at times, who refuse to acknowledge them for who they are, right? You know, in X-Men, yeah, but
Yeah. Professor X becomes, a good one. Yeah. Professor X becomes a father figure for kids, especially kids that were abandoned because of the fact that they're different.
And it ties into like current things of today with, you know, parents not accepting. I mean, that's what it was inspired by, but, you know, parents not accepting their children for, you know, who they
different identities
identify as.
Yeah.
You know, yeah. So.
Yeah, Baked Bean, brilliant. From the guy that played in Dukes of Hazzard. Excellent. But I'm going to one-up you, Baked Bean, because I have to, because Joe brought this up with Clark Kent. Kevin Costner played one of the best. Okay, so I get to cross that one off.
Yeah, see, I could dangle that one in front of you there. I knew you would.
I knew that was coming. I knew it had to be on your list. 1,000%. I knew that was
absolutely,
on your list.
Absolutely. Kevin Costner is Jonathan, and I loved it, right? Because again, like how they again, spoiler alert, how he plays, you know, Jonathan Kent in Man of Steel, and how he's like, like protecting him, like, I want to go out there, and he's like, you can't, man, you can't. If you do, like, and he's the one that goes instead to protect his child, right? Even though his child could protect everyone, he puts like, and he knows this, but he says like, I have to keep you safe.
He's already got a ring.
Straight up wants to have.
He's already got a ring picked up and everything.
This comes off. This comes off. John Snyder. Thank you, Tom.
Oh, right. John Schneider.
Yeah.
Okay, so I don't even know whose turn it is. Whose turn is it? I don't.
Yeah, we.
Does it
Joe
matter?
just went. Yeah.
I think we just
Well,
like
I jumped
yeah.
ahead of the line. Sorry.
That's all right. Go ahead, Eric.
I got one. I can go ahead and go.
Go ahead.
It's actually a twofer. We got Robin Williams as either Daniel Hillard from Mrs. Doubtfire or Peter Banning.
It's one of
from
mine.
Hook.
That was my next one, actually.
Daniel Hillard, because like
Straight
he
up.
is willing to literally sacrifice everything. He's willing to like break the law and risk everything just to spend time with his kids and to raise them and have a good time with them. And come on, he juggles complete insanity to make that happen.
Yeah.
And he doesn't even let the divorce keep him down, which is kind of the whole point of the movie. And as for Peter Banning, he starts the movie being a terrible father, not giving a crap about his kids. But by the end of the movie, he remembers that he's Peter Pan, spoiler alert, and that he needs to be present, and he needs to embrace that joyful energy of children that he had lost when he grew up. And I think both of those speak to the kind of like joy you have to have as a father to remember that you're supposed to be having a good time, but also like you're supposed to want to nurture that like that open-eyed innocence of youth in your children. That like I think that's really important, and I think in both these roles Robin Williams nails it because he's Robin Williams. So that's where that came from. What do you guys think?
Go for it, Jamie.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, he straight up, gets completely dressed up, like complete full-on makeup to just go and be with his kids, and makes up an entire personality. Just it's completely nuts. But at the same time, it's like, well, I mean, if your kids were just taken away from you and you could only see them once every 2 weeks supervised or whatever, I mean, I could see something like that, just doing whatever you can to get back to them, so it's just, it shows how much he loves his kids, how much he's willing to sacrifice to be with his kids, and I mean, he's willing to give it all away for them. So that's that's definitely high on my list of good movie dads right there. So
well, bye John.
See you later, John.
Thanks for coming.
Bye, John.
Oh, thank you. I didn't know how to say that name. I was like,
I don't know.
I'm glad it's John. Okay,
that's why I say John.
No, can we stick with Robin Williams for a second?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
Yes.
So, Joe, go ahead. Do you have another one?
Well, with just going as like, if I could have picked like a dad, right?
Mm-hmm.
I would pick Robin Williams. I mean,
yeah,
I never met the person. I never met him, right? But from interviews and seeing how he is in movies and how he can just dig deep, and just tug your heartstrings. Between the movies mentioned and his role in Good Will Hunting.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I was going to bring that up too.
Dead Poet Society.
Sean
one of my favorite movies of all time.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's yeah.
What was the one where he was a surgeon or something with the kids' hospital?
Patch Adams.
Patch Adams. Yeah.
Patch Adams. Another great.
Not surgeon, doctor, whatever.
Yeah.
And he was also good in Awakenings. That he was good in that too, even though that wasn't really
one of my
comedy.
Movies, yeah.
So with the Sean McGuire, because I work in mental health, the thing that I love about it, and this is why just to kind of clarify, because I think everybody who watches that sees how he becomes a father-like figure for him, right? Which is not appropriate. Because if you take it further than he did, and were to become a father figure, because that would be a blurring of the lines and countertransference and a boundary issue, right? But in the movie, I really liked how he portrayed it, because he is supposed to, in therapy, he's supposed to be what we call transference, right? Where Will Hunting starts to see him as a father, and he can play out and work through his experience with his own father in that room, right? And when he says, it's not your fault, right? And he repeats that. That's what Will Hunting always wanted his dad to say, and he plays it out, right? So to me, and then there's a bond, and Will Hunting leaves and steals his line, right? At the end, but like, and that's to me shows why it was a healthy boundary. So I always like that. 1 hour.
Sorry to laugh on that, but yeah.
That's great. I'm so sorry. Yeah. I'm so sorry, but like, Indy, listen to our podcast. We talk about like listen to our podcast. But then also, so that's why I see like it's a great therapy role, right? I think he does a good job with that. Other things that I want to bring out with Robin Williams, Birdcage, great dad.
Yes.
Right? Yeah, sure.
Great dad, right? And it's a complex, situation.
How did I not think of this one? Oh, that makes me mad.
That's my that's my actual next one.
Yeah.
Chris Nielsen and What Dreams May Come. Like, and like to me, I like again, that's my next one. Darn it, Daryl. Like,
he was good in that movie. Yeah, for sure.
And so that was what I was going to bring up next was in What Dreams May Come, is because and it's interesting because in it he becomes the child, and his children who've been there become like guide him right in this reverse, right?
Yeah, his daughter.
Well, no, his daughter and his son.
Oh, right. That's right.
Yeah. And
Cuba Gooding Jr. was his son. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But I thought he was his daughter. Really?
No, that was his son. That was his son. Was
the
playing,
daughter was somebody else.
His son appeared as
it's been
Chris
years
Nielsen's.
Since I've seen that
movie, no. Oh, I love that movie. Like his son appears as his mentor,
but it's actually his son. Like he's just trying his son.
Okay.
And when they go to hell, right? Like that's where he's like, son, you're the person I would go to hell and back with, right? And that's where they like, and he has that moment, right? Of like, and they're able to kind of work through. And to me, like, I love him in that role, and it shows how much his kids meant to him, how much his kids meant to his family, like what kind of dad he was, his imperfections, all that different stuff. Like busy,
and the fact that they were willing to lift him up in his basically suicidal quest to save his wife, like to save mom.
Yeah. Right. So, great one. All right,
and it's a Richard Matheson book. It's a good book.
Yeah. And don't forget, he played in a movie called World's Greatest Dad.
The daughter was the flight attendant, right? It's the same actress who was in Star Trek Enterprise. I can't remember the character's name off the top of my head. The same actress.
Yeah. All right.
Okay. Scott, you've got the longest list. You go ahead.
Okay. So with I just want to finish off a couple things and then we'll go.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
So with Kevin Costner, Butch Haynes in Perfect World wasn't really a dad, and he kind of kidnapped the kid, but he does kind of like do this fatherly kind of role. And then Ray Kinsella in Field of Dreams with Kevin Costner. Okay, that's my Kevin Costner, like just to get that off. All right. But like my real dad that I want to bring up, Marlon Brando in The Godfather as Vito Corleone. Anything Kevin Costner, I watched. I found out there was one movie I haven't seen, so I have to go. One of his westerns, I have to go see that. But I love the guy. Anyways, but Marlon Brando as Vito Corleone in The Godfather wasn't a great person, but I think he loved his dad, right? But as a dad, loved his family, right? And he loved his children. He's antisocial personality disorder, so he has these really messed up constructs of rules and what have you. But like, I think he was like family was absolutely his most important, and the way that he stepped down in order to take care of his and to be a grandfather, I just so perfect. Yeah, and he adopted a kid, right?
Yeah. Oh,
Anybody
okay,
else?
so we're done.
Uncomfortable
Yeah, that's it. Godfather is in its title. Yeah.
I do think Vito was a better father than Michael. Michael was not a good dad. Michael was a bad dad.
Yes, I agree.
Okay, so Damien, that's you.
Yeah, me, right. I'm gonna just go down the list here. Edward Bloom, from Big Fish,
Big
played
Fish,
by
that's a good
both
one.
Ewan
Yeah, yeah.
McGregor and Albert Finney.
Yep.
So like, you know, it kind of shows like the things that annoy you about your dad when you're young. The things that you're like, man, that guy's just a goofball, or that's really stupid, or, you know, I can't believe he's that way. You know, it turns out to be, you know, or like the stories or that they make up, specifically in this movie, like he thinks that all the stories are made up, but they turn out to be somewhat true. There's half true, but he's just embellished them, you know. But he thinks that, so the son thinks that it was all just lies. It was all just a big fat story, wasn't it? And it turns out, no, it wasn't. And just that, you know, it just it's just one of those things where just through, you know, kind of through example in the end, and that it's not always all those types of fanciful stories aren't always just stories. Sometimes there's truths in them that you know, that you can learn from and whatnot. So it's just, I just thought that was I thought in the end he turned out to be a good dad who was just trying to make his son's life a little bit more fun, a little bit more imaginative, you know, a little bit more interesting through the stories that he told. And sure, the father was a little self-absorbed in his, you know, storytelling and the story of his life, but it, you know, in the end, it was all for good reason, and you know, and that was just to keep things entertaining. So yeah, and a lot of dads can be that way. A lot of grandfathers can be that way.
As a storyteller, I
and
totally
uncles
sympathize
and
with that.
so on. Yeah. Yeah, thank you.
As I get older, like I start to feel like that is probably Tim Burton's best movie, and I think it goes under the radar for a lot of people.
Very good movie. Yeah, it's one of my favorites. Yeah.
Yep.
I've probably seen that movie a dozen times. So, and for a movie of that age, that's a lot for me, you know, because it's not that old really. So, well, I mean, I guess it is compared to a lot of newer movies, but anyway.
Yes, it's old compared to new things.
I'm just getting old. That's the problem. Stop this clock progression thing that keeps happening every day, you know.
And there's also like just something about Albert Finney at that age.
Yeah,
he's like the ultimate grandpa.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, and especially for us in our in like, again, our third podcast where we talk about our own dads and things like that. To me, that movie is that's one of the ones that's on my list. I agree with you. It's one of my all-time favorite movies. Like it's for us, and what we talk about in our podcast, it's this really great point in time of, and I think it reflects us in a lot of ways, of the journey of a male to grow into identifying themselves and find their own identity. And then once you do that, being able to then go back and understand your father, right? And learn about his, you know, Eric's gonna love this, but to learn his truth. And
I would make a rude gesture, but I think YouTube might demonetize me.
Yeah, but like this construct of being able to go on our journeys and then understand our father's journey. So we learn it as a child, and then we get to learn it as adults, right? And learn them and understand them. Like Joe mentioned earlier, initially there are superheroes, and then they become humans, right? And I think that's what this whole movie is about, right? Is this young man's journey into seeing this superhero falling into his stories, right? And then finding the truth.
Yeah.
And it's, to me, that's a really beautiful journey for people.
And also, you know, just in reality of, you know, people, is that sometimes the thing that annoys you the most about somebody is the thing that you end up loving the most about them later, you know,
Of course.
or in retrospect, you know, after they're gone. So, yeah, it's just there's something about that.
Okay, Joe, do you have anybody else? Or no, is it Scott? Whose turn is it?
I guess it's Joe. Joe's next because he's after me.
There's one I was thinking that one of you would bring up, but y'all haven't yet. Clark Griswold.
Oh, yeah, yes.
That's on my list.
Yes, yes. You know what? I didn't even put that on my list, and I'm ashamed.
Shame on you.
All the people who would have put it on their list.
All the people that
I was
should have.
expecting.
I'm like the Christmas Vacation, like, you know, nut job here.
Yeah.
So, anyway, yeah.
His love affair of Lampoon, National Lampoon, is like my love affair, and Clark Griswold is like my love affair of Kevin Costner. Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm surprised by that.
Go ahead, Joe. It's your turn. So
I had it on my list.
Are you just bringing it up to have somebody else talk about it?
I'm bringing it up because I didn't know. I was shocked that it hadn't already been brought up. But just the the imperfect dad who still wants to show his kid the world, and expose them to different things. Yeah, it's
excellent.
I'm not a huge as big a fan of them as you are, but yeah, that's the thing that sticks out to me is him being a dad.
He's always trying to show them everything and squeeze out like every last drop of fun from whatever they're doing, and ultimately he actually just ruins the fun for them most of the time.
He's like the epitome of the whole, you will have fun, damn it.
Exactly. And, just like, has these plans and, and we're going to do this and it's going to be fun. And they all come along, begrudgingly, just like drug into this adventure that he's taking them on. But you can absolutely tell that he just loves his family, everything, and even though they don't always express that they appreciate his love, but and quite often are just like, oh, really? But yeah, and everything he does, like in Christmas Vacation, when he drags him out into the woods to cut down the tree. It's just like everybody the whole time just like, do we really have to do this? Is this really something we're doing? That's such a dad thing,
Yeah.
Anyway.
Well, and the extent that he goes to the with the lights, but and the thing that I appreciate, the thing that I appreciate about it is that the kids hate it as their kids.
Yeah, later on in life, though,
when they become adults, those are the things that they're gonna like. Especially when at his funeral, all of those things are the things that they're gonna bring up and are gonna like hit them in the heart.
Remember that time we jumped that the road out in the desert. 40 yards. He's like 40 yards.
Right? Remember that time Santa Claus like flew into space?
Yeah, exactly.
Like blew up and flew into space?
Yeah.
Like those are the things that
remember the squirrel?
Squirrel.
Didn't even let a dead family member bring the vacation down.
You know what? Zuper brings up a good
just put
point
her on the roof.
that there's like, because like when he when he talks about like he's at the I think it's the perfume desk in Christmas Vacation, where he's like the woman who's got large tracts of land, and then also like
just
Christy
beautiful
Brinkley.
eyes, just beautiful eyes, big round. Wonderful eyes, yes.
Yeah, and like and like with Christy Brinkley and stuff like that. Like, I am not 100% certain that he cheated on his wife or not, and I'm sure there's lots of people that would want to go like absolutely, but I also know plenty of guys who love their family, but also have like the appreciation for the wandering eye or whatever, or like the fantasy and stuff like that, where they're like, maybe when they're with their spouse, like they may be thinking about like another person or whatever, and yet at the same time it doesn't mean that they're like, hey, just because I might think about Kevin Costner on occasion does not mean that I don't love my wife. Okay. Like,
no. Yes, he was poised to cheat on his wife at least once. In the pool on the Christmas or on the first vacation movie. But and then there were other times when he was definitely giving women the eye. And you know, he's a man. He's got his weaknesses. You know, I don't really approve, but you know, is what it is. We are
focusing the conversation on dads, not husbands.
Yeah.
Even though
Good point.
We are.
Yeah. Well, you three might be husbands. I sure as hell am not. Yeah.
Hey, you know what? Speaking of that, Damien going, don't you put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby. Yeah, exactly. I got to bring up Will Ferrell as Ricky Bobby then. Don't you put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby.
Ricky Bobby.
Not a great man, but definitely fighting for his family. And on top of it, like he kept the kids, right? And the complexity of like being a man with a really poor father figure and not knowing how to truly be a father, yet trying to learn, and having a close relationship with his mom. Like I think that's again, I don't think it's a necessity to be a perfect dad. I think it's, you know, because we're all flawed people, but appreciating the work people do to try to become better, right? Like have that open. So I just got it. Like, anyways, I had to throw that in just because.
much like Clark Griswold,
right? Right.
As long as they're memorable, man.
Yeah.
It's the effort, right? It's what's the phrase? It's the meaning that counts, or the
right. It's the thought that counts. Yeah,
the thought that counts. There we go. The thought that counts. Right. Thank you.
Okay, I do have to put in an honorable mention for the martial arts film freak. He told me to put this one in here, so we're going to talk about it a little bit. Speaking of fighting for your family, Jet Li in this movie, The Enforcer, which is also called My Father is a Hero. He's an undercover cop, and his wife dies of a asthma attack, like partial way through the movie. His wife and his son are like, you know, living their life separate, and he's off like fighting gangsters and stuff. And eventually the gangsters find out and they steal his son. And the climax of this movie involves Jet Li and this, like, I don't know, 6 to 8 year old kid. They're tied together they tie each other together with a rope. And Jet Li is using his son as a weapon to attack all the bad guys. It is one of the greatest things I have ever seen in my life. You've got to look it up.
You know what?
That is a good dad.
I have videos of my dad slinging me around in similar fashions, not with enemies, but so.
So I had to bring that one up because I told him I would. That was his choice.
That's great. I love it. All right. Joe brought up Clark. So Eric, your turn.
Oh, okay. Let's see. Who else do I got? Let me look at my list real quick. Okay, somebody else brought it up earlier. I think it was also the martial arts film freak, but he's on my list, and that's Godzilla. Obviously. There's the movie The Son of Godzilla, where you really first meet Godzilla's son. This is before he becomes like Minya and Minnie and really annoying and awful. But in this first movie, he's basically Godzilla's spending the entire movie just trying to survive on an island because like the climate has gone crazy and the world is basically exploding around them. And he's trying to protect his son from giant spiders and humans and everything. Like that's all Godzilla is doing this entire movie, is just protecting his son. And the movie ends and like the climate's all messed up and it starts snowing and Godzilla and his son are like facing the end of the world and Godzilla's just hugging his son as the credits roll. And that brings a tear to my eye, man. Godzilla is a good dad.
Aww.
I agree. I was like, I would not have thought of that one.
Yeah, neither would I.
Mhm.
I don't think
I had to bring it up because it's on my hat.
In fact, I don't even think I've seen that one. I haven't seen. Is that like an old school Godzilla?
That's one of the
movie from
older ones.
60s?
Yeah.
50s
The
or
original
60s?
like Showa run. Yeah.
Gotcha.
I don't remember what year, but yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, damn. I got to look at the comments. I'm missing something.
That was funny, Joe.
Well done. I want to bring up like Keith brought up John Candy in the beach vacation movie. I cannot remember the name.
Oh, I know which
Summer Rental.
Summer Rental.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's with the like. Do you like these? That one.
Yes,
That
one.
That's. I can't. We can't like. Eric can chat, but the rest of us can't chat. But I wanted to make sure that statement got pointed out because that was just freaking awesome. Absolutely great. So kudos.
Mm-hmm.
That's the one where he gets like a really bad sunburn and stuff.
Yes.
Right? Yeah.
Oh yeah.
They
wasn't on my list.
They started out in the wrong house and they get kicked out and then they have to go stay in the one right next to the public beach access or whatever. And that good movie. Yeah.
Such a great movie. And I had such a
I haven't
crush
seen
on the
it in
redhead.
years though. Yeah.
Like when I was a kid, I had such a crush on that redhead. She's in a few movies, and like I just like the daughter in it, and I like the fact. I'm just upset at myself that I didn't think of John Candy because in high school, they were like, "Who do you look like?" And everyone's like, "Oh, Scott looks like John Candy." And I'm like,
and didn't they do another one where they were up in the woods up north somewhere, and there was a bear? Yeah. What was the name of that one?
Wait,
John
was
Candy.
that wasn't Uncle Buck.
No, Uncle Buck was the one where he was Uncle Buck and he drove the car that like spewed smoke and stuff like that. What was the one where they're up in the woods, like in the bear, and they shoots the bear in the ass and blows the fucking at the end? And you know which one I'm talking about?
Vaguely, it does sound vaguely familiar, but I can't
remember the name of it.
If you look it up while we move on, and then you can bring it up in a minute. All right.
Well, Thrash brings. Since I talked about Godzilla, brings The Great Outdoors. Was that it?
Yeah, The Great Outdoors. That's it. Yeah. Yes.
Thrash brings up the ending of Dinosaurs, and I did want to say I considered putting Earl Sinclair on my list because he puts up with a lot. But he didn't actually make my list for some reason. I decided I couldn't have two dinosaurs on the list, so I kept Godzilla and.
Who says you can't? Your show.
Apparently I did, but it is my channel. It's my rules. Yeah.
You change them as you go along.
All right. He's officially on my list.
Not your mama.
Again.
Yeah. Yeah, that was that, and like he's right there because there's a number, especially in the 90s, there were a number of great like dads, right? That were on TV. And so like was it TGI Friday was just like full of like fantastic dads. So
Bob Saget.
Yeah, Bob Saget.
I'm pretty sure somebody already mentioned him. Yeah.
Yeah. Bob Saget. You got what's his name from Family Matters? Carl Winslow.
Carl Winslow, of course.
Yeah. Great one. And I'll say this, even though he's not a great person, like Cosby was a great dad. And the
Cosby Show.
Somebody brought that up earlier in chat.
I'm a big fan of Al Bundy personally, but you know.
Oh, you know what? Someone brought up the question I saw earlier. I can't remember who. Like in the very
I assumed he was going to be on somebody's list.
Yeah. In the very beginning of the chat, someone brought up like, "What are our thoughts on Al Bundy?" Because like, not a great husband.
No. Not a great dad, not a great anything, honestly, but
not a great person.
I just loved that show so much back in the day that I got to bring it up. So
I think he was, in a lot of ways, an unfortunate aspect of who we're raising guys to be like nowadays, of like not knowing, like again, like my greatest achievement was when I was like 17 or 18 in high school. And then everything else is downhill from there. Like that reflects so many guys, right? Like that it's to me, it breaks my heart. Right. So for me, like the bleeding heart that I am, like to me, I have a lot more like empathy or sympathy for that. And so like, I don't see it like, again, it's where we need to work better as men help each other and get each other to better places. But yeah, like he was, but also I agree with you. I loved him as a kid. So.
Well, since we went there, we're going to talk about Homer.
Hey, Al Bundy
Yes, somebody
scored
else was talking about Homer.
4 touchdowns in 1966. 4 touchdowns in one game.
As a running back.
Yeah.
That's a Homer. Yeah,
what was
Damien.
He was like,
yeah.
Can I get a picture? Anyway,
whatever it was. Yeah.
Yeah.
Damien, like Joe brought up, like Damien had mentioned him in the chat was Homer.
Yeah. Homer Simpson.
Why don't you talk about Homer Simpson, Damien?
Oh, that wasn't the next one on my list, but I will talk about Homer Simpson.
Yeah.
He's horrible in a lot of ways because he's bumblingly stupid. He's lazy. Has bouts of explosive anger. He's apathetic, overweight, impulsive. Has like a attention span the size of a gnat. But at the same time, he's like, he can be genius in his stupidity at times and come up with like really amazing ways to do things very badly. But then he also like, when he realizes that he's not a great father, but when he realizes he's being a bad father and not parenting his kids, it's like he steps up and he's like, whatever you need, Lisa, kind of thing. If Lisa needs help with something, he's there and he's helping her and he's doing it until the end, and he's not going to stop until she's got what she needs. And like he takes Bart on adventures places, and they bond through like being lost in the woods together for like however long that was in that one episode. I mean, there's so many Simpsons episodes. How many adventures have they been on together? So yeah, there's a good and a bad there, and he's given up. Like what was that one episode? He had when Maggie's teddy bear, was it Mr. Burns that was his teddy bear when he was a kid or something? I can't remember, but he's offered like all of this money to like for Maggie's teddy bear, and he's like, no, that's Maggie's teddy bear and she loves it and she doesn't, she won't be happy without it, so he turns it down flat. So it's like, he's a good dad, and then he'll do anything for his family. Kind of thing. And
they definitely could use the money. Let's be
honest. Oh yeah, they could definitely use the money. Yeah. So
yeah.
But yeah.
And like even Santa's little helper, right? And like in the very, very beginning of the show, like Santa's little helper, like, and the lengths that he goes in order to get him for the family, like he bungles. And I think I think that's one of the reasons why so many people relate to him, is that we all feel like we bungle, especially as dads. But it's that, like, again, it's the thought that counts. It's the effort. It's that we're trying, right? And like you said, he tries. And when it's brought to him that he's not doing something like in the best way, he'll try to make changes to the best of his ability in order to do that. Yeah. But again, like, and then you look at his dad, Abraham, like so you like, to me, I can understand like why Homer is where he is, and then why Bart is where he is. It's this generational pattern of gradual improvements, right? But but there's things that are carried through the generations. So
hi, Wing It. But this is a good one, like Parenthood. It wasn't on my list, but I should have put it on the list because especially Jason Robards is like the older dad, and he's dealing with Tom Hulse, Amadeus, being like into gambling and stuff, and just basically ruining his life. And somebody else pointed out he's got that great line when he's talking to Steve Martin's character about like it never ends. Like you're always going to be a dad no matter what, and you always have to do what you have to do as a dad, and you just accept it. And that was a really good choice, and I just wanted to highlight it. So good call, Wing It.
Yeah.
No, like I had Steve Martin, Gil Buckman, on my list for Parenthood. Like, 'cause I love that movie. I just think it's a great movie.
It's a great movie. Yeah.
And who was it? I want to make sure I give credit to them. Somebody, Zuper said, I think Parenthood reflected the philosophy of Ron Howard towards fatherhood. I think Ron Howard was probably an amazing dad, right? Zuper, I think you really nailed it, right? And like when you look at his daughter, like Ron Howard's daughter, and all the movies that she's doing, and like, you know, her stuff, I think there's some truth to what he's saying. So yeah, that's a great one.
And to tie in another one, since the actor's in that, can we go with Honey, I Shrunk the Kids?
Yeah, great one. That was on. Oh, that wasn't even on my list. Oh, yeah, Rick Moranis, like, and also, what was it? In Giants, or the football one that he did, where he was like the coach of.
No idea what you're talking about.
I'll look it up, but go ahead, Joe. Continue with Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
No, it's just the, you know, leaving, you know, dangerous technology around, you know, like, and having the mishaps of letting your kids
at least lock the door, you know.
You know.
Unplug the machine or something. So put a key.
Have a master key somewhere.
Yeah.
You're talking about Little Giants, though, I think, right?
Turn the
Little Giants.
off,
Yeah, that's what I was about to say.
Yeah.
And he was going against Ed O'Neill, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, again, bringing like more connection or whatever. He's going against Ed O'Neill's football team, Kevin O'Shea. But yeah. Like, in that one, like, Rick Moranis, like, taking these kids that, you know, Ed O'Neill doesn't feel are tough enough or good enough for football, and then giving them the opportunity, right? Seeing the potential in them, seeing their, like, again, they're not going to be in the NFL, but that's not what matters, right? What matters is what you're trying to convey through sport, right? And he's in not letting kids fall by the wayside, letting them have the opportunity to learn those same lessons, and even maybe some more, because they're outmatched, right? Or they're like skill, like their natural talent wise, they're less than, and you know, and so there's things that you can kind of overcome with that through teamwork. I think that's.
And wasn't he the dad too in My Blue Heaven? What, Rick Moranis? Is a baseball game or a baseball movie?
I haven't seen that
Kids.
in a long time.
Yeah.
Wait, was My Blue Heaven?
Steve Martin played the like gangster or whatever. He was always wearing the like fancy suits and stuff.
No. I think Rick Moranis was the agent, and Steve Martin used the gangster money to create a baseball field and stuff.
Yeah,
like that.
That's it.
Yeah.
Well, since we're on the topic of Steve Martin, I got to bring this one up. His dad, jerk.
Yes,
who gives this wonderful bit of advice.
Lord loves her. Oh, it's great. Don't trust Whitey. But yeah, the opening line, something like I was the son of a poor black man or something like that. And you just hear Steve Martin saying it. It's just a great movie. It's phenomenal.
I have to watch that one. I haven't seen.
That's a great movie.
I got to bring up somebody just for a dad moment in a movie.
Yeah, sure.
So Noah Levinstein from American Pie, played by Eugene Levy.
Oh yeah.
When you know the pie incident, you know, when they're in the kitchen and you know, what's the character's name? He's one of the main characters, of course. I can't remember his name off the top of my head for some reason, but he's making, you know, having fun with a pie.
Right. The titular American Pie.
And it's just, you know, it just shows his patience and understanding, and you know, the fact that it's like, well, we'll just tell your mother we ate it. You know, it's
no, we will
not. Dad moment. He's like, well,
it fell on the
ain't
floor.
Nobody gonna understand this, and we're just gonna keep this between the two of us.
I don't even want it. No.
Yeah. We'll just tell her we ate it. Let's get rid of it. You know?
No.
Yeah, exactly. So it's just, it was one of those moments. It's like a total dad moment. It's like, ain't nobody gonna understand this. Ain't, you know, we're just gonna keep this between us.
In fact, I don't even understand it at this moment.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll deal with it.
Yeah, we'll deal with it. Just me and you, bud. We're the only ones that know about this one.
Like somebody had brought up American Pie earlier in the chat, like way back. I'm trying to look for it, but like
Well, he's definitely just overall a very patient, understanding, and involved father throughout the movie. So
he's a good dad.
Yeah, he is for sure. But that moment in particular.
Oh yeah, absolutely right.
That is a good dad, definitely. I got another twofer for you. I got Liam Neeson from Love Actually, where he's his wife is dead and he's still mourning, but he's still able to take care of his son and teach his son about love and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And then also his character in Taken.
For yes, I was
obviously
gonna say.
Very different reasons.
I've got that one on my list.
That's on my list further down. But
that's on my list too.
It's like because
are you willing to go?
Yeah, I'm a man with a set of particular skills.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Skills that are a nightmare for people like you.
Say, I just had to bring that up.
Yeah.
He's good in both of them. Yeah.
Well, but I like, and again, it goes to like with us as dads, like the none of us have those particular skills, but I'm sure every single one of us has fantasized about the idea of being taken, of being a taken guy.
Being taken by who?
No, just being
Kevin
Liam
Costner?
Neeson in the movie Taken or whatever, right? And like and playing that role or whatever. Like I think that we've all had that fantasy of like, if someone took my kid, I don't know how I would do it, but I would just like, I don't have a problem doing whatever I need to get my kid back, right? Like I think none of us are sociopaths, but when you mess with our kids, like when you put our kids in severe danger, I think all of us like start to lose a little bit of our care for humanity, because that becomes a major priority. And it's like, look, I'll slaughter whoever I need to.
Yeah.
Like
those people would no longer be human in my eyes.
I have my sword and I will go medieval. Oh, sorry. That's right.
That's not a knife.
This is a knife.
Also, like Baked Bean brought up John Q.
And
and
good one.
Yeah. Like I think that's a really, really great one. And so like, yeah, again, it's that same tenet of how far would you go as a father to take care of your children, and what would you sacrifice in order for your child to be okay, right? And it's like, I think most of us, and John, or I mean, in Baked Bean, I work in healthcare and I've had to deal with insurances before. And let me tell you, yes, it is a letter opener. And let me tell you,
it can be dual use.
That's right. Hey, I'll find a way. With enough force and velocity, anything can become a weapon. But no, I dealing with insurances, like even as a healthcare provider, I can totally understand John Q. It's especially when your kid's, gonna die. Like I argue about this. Like if you went into Best Buy, and you bought a TV and they gave you one of those from the 1980s that's more wood than TV, even though you bought this like giant 80-inch flat screen, like you would go livid because you're like, wait, no, that's not what I bought. Yeah, but this is what we feel that you actually need. We don't feel that you need this one. You need this. This is all you really need. Like any other industry, lawsuits would be happening. But insurance company, we can pay for it and they can deny us all day long. Like it's
Other than fast food, because that's also, you ordered this, but this is what you're getting.
This doesn't look like the picture.
Tying back into National Lampoon's The Family Truckster, he bought the sport wagon. They gave him the Family Truckster, or whatever it was called. So that green thing with the wood paneling.
Yeah. I like Thrash's comment that he is a sociopath. So,
okay, so who's got more? I've got more on my list.
Yeah, I have one more.
Go for it, Joe.
Go for it, Joe.
Ted Kramer.
Oh,
Kramer versus Kramer.
Yep.
Oh,
great one, Kramer.
Older movie. It's yet again a growth moment for the father, because as I remember, it's been years since I've watched it, but not having that great of a relationship with his kid until he's kind of forced to, because mom steps out. So, and then he realizes how important that relationship is and fights for it, you know? So,
and it kind of goes into our conversation, one of our podcasts that we just released, like I think it's the last one that we released, that where the talk about like the changing dad roles. That was one of the movies that represented that concept of divorce becoming a bigger thing because women getting empowerment, now dads having to change their roles in the family, right? And Ted Kramer is a perfect example of that experiencing happening and reflecting what was happening in society, right? And how it made dads become, dads and better dads and stuff. And can I add one, because I know we're coming up on time, but we had brought up Michael Keaton, and I want to bring up Bob Ivanovich from My Life.
That's one of mine.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah.
Go ahead. My Life was a great movie. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Can I tell you, like when we started our recordings of our conversations,
Mm-hmm.
like that was exactly one of the things that was in the back of my mind whenever we started this.
Yeah. Was that movie? Yeah.
Like the reason that we have our podcast, like, and kind of started it was like, well, we were having conversations, but then we talked about recording it for our kids to be able to see later on, right?
Mm-hmm.
When they're an adults. And it was exactly because of the influence of that movie and that concept of I'm never going to be able to see my child. And I want them to know who I am because I'm dying of cancer while my wife is pregnant. Like it's such a beautiful and heart-wrenching, especially like I saw it before I was a dad. If I saw it now.
Yeah, make you cry the whole way through. Yeah. So yeah, he makes these videos, shows, to teach his son how to be, how to do things and how to, deal with things, when he grows up and so on and so forth, like shaving, cooking, how to drive, I mean, he even shows him how to enter a room at one point, it's like, this is how you enter a room. You come in and you can either saunter in or you can go in, hey, with the handshake, and all that stuff. Yeah. It's just all like life skills. And, and so his son will know who he was after he's gone. And
because his son will never get a chance to meet him.
Yeah. Never get to know him, never get to meet him. So,
yeah.
But he did get to meet his son in the movie, right? Wasn't it like just before he died, his wife gave birth or something, or it's been years.
Spoilers. No spoilers.
Sorry. Anyway, I already gave 10 spoilers there about that.
No, you gave the general discussion.
Yeah. Okay.
Anyway. No, if you haven't seen that movie, go see that movie. If you haven't seen that,
I don't remember. So I don't remember. So, yeah. Anyway, it's a good movie. Watch it if you haven't seen it. I would. Yeah, I want to go see it again. So. But
you have. Now I know how it ends.
Well, he's got cancer. He dies.
What? How could you spoil that?
Yeah. We know he's dying from day one of the movie, so or from 5 minutes in or something like that.
Right.
But I want to bring up. I don't know if any of you have ever seen the movie Life as a House.
I have seen Life.
That's on my list.
Yeah. George Monroe, played by Kevin Kline. And he's dying. And he doesn't tell his son right away, but so he brings his son back into his life and helps help him build. Yeah, exactly. To help build a house as a bonding, to bond with his son and try to, show his son who he is and try to reconnect with him and try to learn who his son is before he, so his son has something to remember. And really he's building his son a house.
Right.
Yeah. And so he's also teaching his son skills and all this at the same time. And his son doesn't know it until after he's gone that the house is his and so on and so forth. And I won't spoil the very end for anybody that hasn't seen it, but a great movie. Love that movie. So yeah. And just shows how much, that character, really in the end, and he was a bad father at first, but really in the end, how much he really does care about his family. So
Ryan Burns, that's the one. Yeah, that's the one that got me. That's the one I saw that pop up.
Exactly. Yes, Vader built a house. Vader did have a dad after all. He just died young. So.
Great job, Ryan.
Nice.
That movie also has a very memorable shower scene.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
But I won't spoil it.
Yeah.
Eric, do you have another one?
Yeah, sure. I got more. Let's see. Let's go with Marty Crane from Frasier.
Oh,
That's a good one. I'm not sure why. It's like he's got these two sons who are so wildly different from him. But he's still able to be their dad and give them advice when they need it. And he's having to deal with his own issues and being like cooped up with his son because of his own physical infirmities and all that stuff. But like being able to reconnect with his kids after years of basically being estranged from them, he's able to do it. He's able to bridge this like enormous gulf between them because, you know, Frasier is Frasier and Niles is Niles, but he's just a regular guy. He's like a union guy. He's an ex-cop, you know, and he doesn't think the way they do. He's not an intellectual. He doesn't understand their intellectual attitudes, and they don't care. He doesn't care about Sherry. You know, he likes his crappy beer and his crappy chair, and that's all he asks. And I don't know, for some reason, that to me just has always struck me as a great dad. What do you guys think?
I agree with you, especially when you're working with two guys that have the level of narcissism that they have, right? And where
obviously Eddie,
yeah. I was about to say the Jack Russell. You can't forget about the Jack Russell. But no, like not, and again, like not saying that they have like narcissistic personality disorder or anything like that, but because Niles and Frasier are such intellectuals, they discount their dad's wisdom, right? And so having to break through that to get them to hear him, right? And to get them to like get his words of wisdom that he does to have him, it requires like a level of humility on their own part in order to achieve that.
Absolutely, yeah.
And for him to be able to like, all right, I'm gonna let you fall, and then I'll come and help you. Yeah, I'll be here to help you lift up because you won't listen to me, right? And I hope I have that kind of relationship with my kids where they're smart enough to do all of these great things and maybe think past me, but still be like, okay, I'll let you fall, but I'll be there. Like I think that's a great dad. I didn't even think about that.
I also like how he's not stoic. Like he's a wise old man, but at the same time he's always frustrated. He's always angry, and you know, he's always trying to keep his emotions in check. But you know, he's got to be him.
Yeah,
and I think that speaks to a lot of dads. Like we can't all be emotionless robots and know exactly how to act in a certain situation. We're going to make mistakes. We're going to be frustrated. We're going to be angry, but we can still be the father figure we need to be. And I think that he embodies that.
And Andy's 100% right.
Yeah.
I think like dads have to have a chair. Like they're just like, I think that should be like life law. Dads have to have a chair, right?
Or at least a spot, you know, like I have my spot on the couch, and that's
I've got pictures of
it's there.
I've got pictures of my kids sitting in this particular chair, my office chair, right? And they love sitting in this chair. Like my youngest likes to play like video games. Like if she gets the chance, she wants to play it on my computer, stuff like that. Like there's that mystique about the dad's chair or whatever. I love it. So I agree with Indy on that one. I think that should be SAG law. Bring that back into the culture.
I think it's actually in canon on Frasier that their mom was really, really wealthy.
Zuper, that's a good question too. Yeah, good point. He took bribes. Thrash.
Well,
Thrash, he took bribes
in Seattle.
Well done, Thrash. He had his side hustle.
Okay, so I went last. Whoever else wants to go. We can do this as long as we want. Like I've got so many. Okay, so I want to bring up James Stewart as George Bailey in It's a Wonderful Life. I was wondering when somebody was going to bring that up.
Yeah,
I just like you have to bring up like and again like to me it's such a especially like this being dads, our podcast being about dads. To me, that's such a dad experience, right? That we feel like we do so little or we make such a little impact or difference in our general life. And I think that's a human thing. I don't think that's exclusive to men, right? But like, I think it's such as a dad, I connect with it in so many ways. Like, what difference am I making?
Brave man.
That is the quote of the day.
Yes.
You win.
Wing it. You like, yes. But yeah, no, like with George Bailey, and then to sit there and see like what kind of impact you make, like, because it's not only like, to me, it's not only the role of the male, role of the man / husband or whatever in the family, but also the community. Like, it's all interconnected, and your kids being able to see that in you, that not only you connected to the family, but you're connected to the community. Like, I just like, I love it. So, you know what? That's a good point too. Wing it. That's a really good point too. Anybody else?
Okay, so
thoughts?
Damien.
I'm all out of names, man. We've exhausted my list.
Okay, Eric.
I got 2 more. Roger Murtaugh from the Lethal Weapon movies.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was gonna mention him earlier. I had it pulled up, in fact. So
you know what?
Yes.
I was gonna mention it, but I'm too old for this crap.
Yeah, I'm too old for this crap.
Roger Murtaugh actually taught me how to shave. My dad never taught me how to shave. Roger Murtaugh taught me how to shave.
That's a great
Lethal Weapon
scene.
2 or 3, the one where like his son's best friend basically dies.
I think that was 3.
I think that was 3, where his son's best friend dies in a shootout, like because he was dealing drugs. And so he's trying to connect with his son and trying to show his son that he understands and he cares, and he feels really bad because he was involved somehow. I don't remember the details anymore, but like, I think he may have even shot him. He may have been the one who shot him.
I think
and
you're right.
I don't know. There's just something about Roger Murtaugh as a dad. You see him in his house, and he's got his family basically just crawling all over him. I mean, that's like the mental image you get.
Yeah.
He's like, trying to take a bath, trying to be by himself, trying to relax, and his kids just burst in with the birthday cake, and they're basically just mobbing him in the bathtub. I don't know. Roger
Isn't there
Murtaugh
a scene of him on? Was it a scene of him on the bathroom or something like that, or on the toilet?
On the toilet.
Yeah. That's right. There was a bomb. That's right. That's right.
And Riggs has got to pull him into the bathtub.
Right.
Yeah,
to
save his life. Yeah.
To me, like, I know it's there's a bomb or whatever, but like I loved it because it's like, I'm too cool for it. No, like I just love, like, because especially when you become a parent, like we talk about like how moms lose like so much of their personal boundaries, but I think there's also a part where dads lose their, like, dads lose a lot of their personal boundaries, and that there is just no escape from any of the trouble, like even on the toilet. And I know moms can definitely relate to that, but us guys too. My
oldest used to just walk in the bathroom no matter what I was doing. So I'd be in there taking a shower, like, and it's a glass shower door, and I'd be like, soap all up in my face and stuff I can't see, and then I go to rinse off, and I look, and I'm like, how long have you been there?
Just waiting.
Just waiting for me to be done. Just, hi, Daddy. She was like 3 or 4 or something, so it's just, oh my God. Anyway.
Well, and super, like, I think, like, your point is, like, anybody who can put up with Mel Gibson, right? Yeah. But like,
his experience as a father made him capable of dealing with Riggs. Yeah.
Right. But like, I think also Riggs, like, absolutely, I think this is like a no stuff Sherlock, but like statement. But like for Riggs, like Murtaugh was like the stabilizing factor, and the fact that he was a family man and a dad, like, I think that was something that Riggs connected with him, because Riggs was going through his own chaos, right? And so, like, I think that's one of the things that stabilized Riggs, or was like a foundation for Riggs, was that he could rely on Murtaugh, and I think that's why Murtaugh was so important to him, and so psychologically.
And speaking of Mel Gibson, Ransom, where he's trying to get his son back. Give me back my son. That movie.
Mm-hmm.
The ending of that movie where he finally like catches Gary Sinise, the guy who stole his son. Spoiler alert. And he's just like beating him in the street. That was like the first time I ever watched a movie and like felt the same visceral anger as the main character, like righteous indignation. Like, yeah, beat the crap out of him. Please do it.
Yeah.
Curb kick him.
And Mel Gibson was a dad in a lot of things where his kids just died.
Oh yeah, The Patriot.
Mel Gibson and The Patriot.
That's one of the things that absolutely. Yeah. That's absolutely
Straight up.
Yeah, that one, and that's a really tough one because he doesn't want to, because he wants to protect his children, but then he has to and then also to bring your child into a war that's coming into you. Like they looked at the statistics, and 33% of people supported us going to war against England. 33% wanted to stay connected with England. And then another 33 just didn't care. So it's like this real split. Only a small portion wanted to make this a country. And so
that's a reference to Murtaugh.
Was that Lethal Weapon 1 or 2? I can't remember.
I can't remember either. I think that was 2.
I think it was 2.
Probably.
Yeah. Oh, more.
I think we spend a lot more time with his family in 2. And 1, they're just kind of there. But 2, they become like part of the story.
Yeah. Oh, and Brian Cox. Yeah, Brian Cox and Braveheart. That's a great one. Big Bean.
Come on.
Okay. So
yeah, you can go. Your volume. I don't know if it's me. Did your volume just go like way down?
I think he turned away from the mic.
Oh, okay.
Oh, did I drop? Okay, sorry. Am I still really quiet?
No, you're good now.
You're better now.
Okay, I'm good now. Okay. So, Sean Penn, Sam Dawson, I Am Sam. Like that to me.
I don't think I've ever seen that one.
Oh, so he's so in this movie, he is mentally disabled and has intellectual disability.
I've seen bits of it. I caught it once upon a time on TV.
And they're trying to determine if he has the capability to be a father. And he's been a father of this girl, right? And the concern is that she's starting to exceed his intellectual ability, and he's fighting for rights to be her dad, right? And so they're looking at separating them because they don't feel like they're concerned, is he competent enough in order to be a dad? And that one, even before I became a dad, that one pulled at my heartstrings. And again, it's that fighting for your children, and all of the things that he teaches her with his ability. Like, I'm a big proponent of mental illnesses, regardless, should not impact your ability to be a parent, so long as you're not directly harming them, right? And even if you get treatment, because maybe you didn't get, maybe you had a child early on, and before the illness became about, it led to you doing some things that weren't so great, and then you go back into treatment and you come back. I think you should be. We had a client that had schizophrenia, and was fighting to get custody of her child. And I was so happy. And this was when I was in Florida, so happy when the judge determined that just because she has schizophrenia, if she's under treatment and gone through treatment and stays on medication, she absolutely gets to be a parent. She hasn't been abusing the child. Just having schizophrenia on its own should not negate you from being a parent, as long as you're following treatment. And I'm like, because diabetes, you can get, when your blood sugar gets out of whack, you can get very bizarre. And so, I know plenty of patients or plenty of people that have diabetes that do not control it. It leads to erratic behaviors, irritability, all these different things. Like, if you can't take that, if we don't feel that that's, ethically okay to take that child away, then why should we do other things, right? Yeah. And so, anyways, sorry. So that's another reason why I love that movie. It's such a great movie. If you haven't seen I Am Sam, I think Sean Penn, I'm almost certain Sean Penn won an Oscar for that. I know he won it for Midnight River or whatever it was. But this is one that I think he was either nominated or he actually won an Oscar for this. But Mystic River. Thank you. Not Midnight. Yeah, Mystic River.
Took me a minute.
I think, but like, I think this is the one I think he got nominated. He was phenomenal. He was phenomenal in it. So,
well, along the same lines, you've got Forrest Gump. He was a good dad.
yes.
Mhm.
Yeah. Someone brought up Forrest Gump earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also, while we're on the subject of Tom Hanks, he's my last one as Sam, the dad in Sleepless in Seattle. Very similar to Liam Neeson in Love Actually.
Yep.
That's one on my list.
Dealing with the grief of a lost spouse while trying to raise a son. And man, he raises the best son. That the kid in Sleepless in Seattle is super precocious, but like, I don't know. He's a great dad. He feels guilty about trying to start a relationship because of how it would affect his son, where his son is all for it. But you know, he's thinking about his son's well-being first before his own needs and wants and desires. And you know, that's what you have to do as a dad, right?
Yeah.
Self-sacrifice.
Absolutely.
I'm gonna throw one out there.
Okay.
Harry Stamper from Armageddon.
Oh yeah. That's on my list. Yep.
Oh, you had that too? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean,
absolutely.
He sacrifices himself to save everyone. So you know,
Right.
so,
But again,
especially his daughter and soon-to-be son-in-law.
Exactly.
He does it for her specifically, but you know,
and kicks Ben Affleck off the flight.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So that absolutely.
Yeah. So yeah, just you know, anybody that's willing to give the entire world to their daughter is a good dad. So.
Yeah. Absolutely. So, and on that same stint with Bruce Willis, let's add John McClane and Die Hard.
Ah, yes. Yes.
Yeah. Right? You can't forget that.
In the Die Hard movies, yes. At least the first two.
Well, he's a good dad in all of them.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, he is. You're right.
Even if you don't like the last one, he's still a good dad to
true.
Yeah.
But his daughter in the fourth one, I think their relationship was fantastic.
Just gotta throw this out there. I can't remember the name of the character, but Arnold Schwarzenegger in the movie Commando.
Yeah, somebody brought that up in the comments.
Daughter, yeah. Oh, did really? Yeah, because
that and Jingle All the
Taken.
Way.
Yeah, it's kind of like the movie Taken, but it's taken by terrorists or whatever. But
right.
Yeah, they take his daughter to get to him, and so he has to go and kill them all, and he's got the skills for it. So he does. So,
and sticking with Bruce Willis, Ben Jordan in The Story of Us. That one, like,
I haven't seen that one.
Oh,
I've seen The Story of Us.
It's Bruce Willis and Michelle Pfeiffer, and they're married, and they're having struggles in their marriage, and it's like, are we going to get a divorce or not? And it reflects on the good times and the bad times of their relationship, right? And the struggle. And if you haven't seen The Story of Us, absolutely go see that movie. It's a phenomenal movie. And it just like, it's one of those that just really, like, to me, it's an honest and raw reflection on a marriage. Right. And so to me, like, it's great. It's great. And on that same theme, Adam Driver does a movie with Scarlett Johansson.
Oh yeah, The Marriage Story or whatever. Yeah, I haven't seen it, but I've heard of it. There's like a meme that goes around that uses it as a template.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it is called The Marriage Story.
Yeah.
But anyways, that's another great one. Marriage Story. Yeah, it's literally called Marriage Story. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. Great movie, great dad. So it wasn't on my list, but I just thought of it. So,
the movie The Road.
Someone brought
Thrash
up.
mentioned that.
Yeah, the dad from The Road. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh wait, no.
He does the best he can. He doesn't have much to work with, Yeah. But he does the very best he can, and makes sure that his son makes it to gets with somebody else, or is alive long enough to make it to somebody else. So anyway.
Indy is purporting that Satan is a
devil's
good
advocate. Satan.
Yeah, I was actually going to go a different direction with that one. Morgan Freeman is the ultimate dad.
There you go. Right there you go.
Playing God. So,
yeah,
that's a great one.
And what was that? Bruce Almighty.
And
that was Bruce Almighty, right? No, I guess he played God in both.
I think he's
in
both. Yeah, I think he's in both.
So
no, I love the fact that, like, in The Road, the dad is called Man.
Yeah, he's just called Man. they never give any names. It's just man. You know.
Yeah,
I never saw the movie. I read about half the book, and it was just so depressing I couldn't finish it.
Yeah. Well, the movie was pretty fucking depressing too. You've seen the movie, right?
I have not seen the movie. That's one
you guys haven't seen the movie.
I have not.
No.
Yeah.
None of y'all.
It's Viggo Mortensen, right?
Yeah.
Watch it. It is fucking depressing, but at the same time, it's a very well thought out story. The whole world, it's very accurate to what you might expect. So, but anyway, if you read part of the book, then you already know the setting. So,
yeah.
So, but yeah, decent, very very good movie. I liked it. It was depressing, yes, but whatever.
I want to bring
maybe
up,
it has a happy ending.
I want to bring up, because we're
I wouldn't call it happy, but there's a resolution at least, sort of.
But so because we're on the Tug channel, I want to bring up Matthew McConaughey as Joseph Cooper in Interstellar.
That's a good choice.
Yeah. That's a good choice. That's a very good choice.
Like,
bends time and space for his daughter. Yeah.
Yep.
And gives her clues from the fifth dimension. Like,
he's
travels,
pluck the strings.
That's right.
Of time.
Interdimensional travel to communicate with his daughter.
Yeah.
It
reaches out across time and space. Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think then is everybody else out on their list?
Let me double check, but I think I got it. Everybody on my list.
Because I got a number more. Okay. All right. I'm gonna go through my list.
Go fast. Yeah.
All right. James Caan as Walter and Elf. Like he starts out as a cruddy dad, but then comes around. This one, I don't care. I love the story. I think it's phenomenal. I think it's excellent. Albert Brooks as Marlin in Finding Nemo. To me, I cannot watch that without crying. I can't. Like, even when
I like how he's the one who actually learns a lesson in that movie, and it makes it so special.
And even when I go to the Animal Kingdom, when we would go to the Animal Kingdom, I would have to watch the Finding Nemo theater production, and even then, like, I cry. My girls were little kids, and they're watching. They're like, "Daddy, why are you crying?" And I'm like, "I would never let you guys go. I'm finding them out." Like absolutely. Okay, we've danced around it, but James Earl Jones, obviously, for obvious, like he was a terrible dad, a terrible person, but comes around in the end as with Darth Vader, but also Mufasa, like Eric called it, Mufasa as Lion King. Great dad, but one he didn't call when I brought up like James Earl Jones in our chat, King Jaffe in Coming to America.
Yes.
Of course.
Yes.
Good call.
Yes.
Right.
I'm very happy to be here. Sorry.
Yes. No. And then
You're gonna get canceled. Stop that.
Sorry. What is a bit line from the movie? Come on.
Yeah, you don't have to use the accent, but no, like but no, like one of the greatest dads of all time, James Amos, movie wise, because like he was Cleo McDowell in the American dad in Coming to America, but also the dad in Good Times, like one of the greatest dads of all time for TV. And on that same ilk, Fred Stanford from Stanford and Son. Then Ethan Hawke as Mason Sr. in Boyhood. That is one of the most amazing movies ever. They filmed that movie over a 12-year. It's Richard Linklater. They filmed that movie. Yeah, they filmed that movie over a 12-year period where they would come in every so often and film. And it took 12 years to make. And it was the same boy and his growth or whatever. But Ethan Hawke, like trying to pass on the music knowledge and like kind of like, he wasn't a great dad, but like trying to do the parts that he could when you're separated. Nick Offerman as Frank Fisher in Hearts Beat Loud, trying to connect with his daughter through music. And then also
know what that is.
Oh, it's a great movie. It's a great movie. And also Frank in Kings of Summer. That one, I love that movie. To me, like, I think if you like Damien and Eric, especially if you watch that movie, I think you would go like, oh yeah, I could definitely relate to Frank. It's about some kids that like teenagers that get frustrated with their parents, the rules, all this different stuff. So during this summer, they go out and they build a house in the woods and no one can find them. And like Nick Offerman is this really kind of relatable dad, tries to set boundaries, and it's a really great movie. Definitely go see it.
So it's The Kings of Summer.
Yeah, The Kings of Summer. Phenomenal indie movie. Phenomenal indie movie. I love it. A
little bit like Stand By Me or something like that. But anyway.
He's not a great dad, but I relate to him. Danny McBride as Rick Mitchell in Mitchell's versus the Machines, because I'm a Luddite.
Yeah. That's a good one. Yeah, I like that one. Yeah,
I'm a Luddite,
well,
so
he's kind of like like Chevy Chase in National Lampoons. He's trying to be, to take him on an adventure and to be, anyway. It's just He's
of another one
very hard.
What's in the Marty Crane vein is the dad James Caan from Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs 1 and 2.
Mm.
Oh yeah.
He's a good one.
Yeah. Another great one, right? This one I can't believe not any of us said, and I'm so sad. I hope people listen to this to the whole end for this. But John Witherspoon as Willie Jones in Friday. Don't go in there for 35, 45 minutes. He is one of the best dads of all time.
35, 45.
Go into my refrigerator.
Eat all my damn food.
I like chitlins. I like hog maws.
I like them pig's
feet. Like, I love, like, he is just phenomenal.
I hadn't thought of that in a while. That's good.
Yeah.
Walter White in Breaking Bad. Yeah. Actually, he loves his family,
Yeah. Links that you would go. But then he becomes like this really, like, he's kind of the reverse. He
starts good and ends bad.
Yeah.
Oh, John Amos. You're right. John Amos, not James. My apologies. Thank you, Andy. John Amos.
Also, the comments have brought him up several times, but Pedro Pascal as either the Mandalorian or from The Last of Us as being like surrogate father, of course.
Yeah. And there's that meme like in by 2050 Pedro Pascal will be like
right
or whatever.
All the entertainment will be Pedro Pascal like passing around his adopted children.
Yeah. H. John Benjamin as Bob Belcher in Bob's Burger, the movie.
Also the show, he's good.
Yeah, he's phenomenal.
But yeah, I actually had that on my TV list was Bob's Burger, and I should have been bringing up some of those, but anyway, because I had another like 10 or 12 on the TV list. So
yeah, I think that was Lynn. Lynn picked that on my Facebook page. He talked about Bob's Burger. So yeah,
Bob's Burger is a good one.
And then I like Ian Holm as Gideon Largeman from Garden State. I love that movie.
I don't know, man. He like doped his son up.
You know what he did, but I don't see him as a great dad. But I think that's again, this is the problem of being a provider and not having boundaries, in the sense of like, I know a lot of primary care providers who are like their kids' providers. And I'm like, it's not uncommon, but it's not appropriate because again, you're in it. You can't step out and be objective. Right. And to me, I think it's a great model for why we need to step back sometimes and let someone else help us. Kind of like what Damien wants to bring up the next time that we would, like, not this recording, but the next recording, of men being able to stop back and ask for help. I think that's one of his flaws, but I do think that he cared about his son and he tried because it's a struggle. What was that, Damien?
I was like, what, me? What?
Oh, yeah. No,
flaws?
Like you brought up.
I'm not flawed. I don't know what you're talking about. There's no flaws here.
Oh, no. I'm not talking about like you having flaws, but just as a general.
Yeah.
I can't believe nobody's mentioned Dominic Pareto. If there's a man who loves his family, it's Dom. Have none of you seen Fast and the Furious? Really?
Yeah, I've seen it. Yeah.
Oh, no. Oh, okay.
The first two.
No.
And then it was just like, it's just all the same fucking movie.
I haven't seen it.
Like, they get increasingly more and more ridiculous, and I love that about them.
No,
well, they have to be more ridiculous because they already did the other thing in the other show.
They're unapologetically absurd by the end.
Yes.
I love that.
Eric, I am so upset that I did not go on that Fast and the Furious bender like you and Lynn did.
Lynn got me into it because I hadn't seen it until like a year ago.
I like absolutely like have such a desire to just do a Fast and Furious bender, but the problem is I have nobody to do it with, and it's one of those, to me, I think you have to do it with somebody and sharing it or whatever.
It helps
it's better.
better.
Yeah.
But sometimes life, you have to handle things on your own.
And that one's all about family. Like they say, I'm sure you could do like an edit where they bring up the word family in that, like, and it would just.
It's actually not like a trope for the first 4 or 5 movies, but then after that they say it like 10 times a minute. Family.
It's like I think it would be as long as this live stream or whatever. And so if you haven't seen Boyhood, it's on Showtime right now, so go stream that. And then the last one that I wanted to bring up,
all the damn vampires.
Oh yeah.
Grandpa.
So
it's all the damn vampires.
Speaking of that, the other one I wanted to bring up was Burgess Meredith in Grumpy Old Men as the dad.
Oh yeah,
one of the greatest dads.
Yeah,
like taking old one eye to the optometrist or whatever. Like all of like his outtakes. The greatest part of he made that movie to me. I think everybody like would agree. Like he was great. And then my TV one would be
what was wrong with her son? Did she have big thighs?
I forgot about that.
Oh, I always loved that line.
You got big thighs. And then my final one, like for TV, that I was like, I had to bring this up, even if we don't talk about TV, was Jason Bateman as Michael Bluth in Arrested Development. Like
fair, yeah.
At March 4th, Netflix is taking that show off, and like so that they don't have to pay royalties anymore. And that's what a lot of the streaming companies. So binge that whole series while you can, before it goes off into the nether, the ether or whatever. And so like I had a hard time getting into
the newer seasons when Netflix picked it up and like added like 2 more seasons or 3 more seasons. I had a really hard time with those. Like I really liked the first run, whatever it was, 3 or 4 seasons. I thought it was like one of the best shows ever, but I don't know, for some reason when it got to Netflix the magic was gone.
It's still just one of the greatest shows ever made. I'm a monster.
I got one more.
Go for it.
Jack Burns from Meet the Parents, played by Robert De Niro.
Oh yeah.
Also, Meet the Fockers. He's in Meet the Fockers.
Of course,
yeah.
And then of course, Meet the Fockers.
And Dustin Hoffman.
There you go. As the senior or the elder Focker or whatever.
So, if it's yellow, let it mellow. If it's brown, flush it down. All right?
Yes.
Words to live by.
But I mean, Jack, like, I mean, you know, he'll do anything for his daughter, of course, through that whole movie, and then in extension,
he gets the fake. He gets the prosthetic breasts in order to feed the baby. Like he's a wacko.
Yeah. I have nipples. Can you milk me? Can you milk me, Greg? I have nipples.
Yeah, I did.
That whole thing is great.
Yeah, anyway.
I thought of one more from my childhood. It was kind of a non-traditional family fatherhood movie, which was 3 Men and a Baby.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. That's a good one.
That's a great one.
So
yeah, that's one of the like. That's a great call. Great call.
Yeah.
Great call.
Anyway, I think we're gonna call it. It's like 2.5 hours. We're like an hour over what I thought we were gonna do. So, but that's fine. I'm glad people are still sticking around. I still got pretty much the same number of people watching as we started with. So it's great. Thank you, everybody. And thanks for all your comments and your suggestions. It's been a good time. And I'll have these guys back on my channel eventually. We'll talk again. Maybe we'll do movie moms or something. We'll figure it out.
You sure that's a good idea?
Yeah, right.
Straight up become, I think she's hot. You know, that's gonna be the whole.
I know that's gonna
movie
be
moms
like
thing.
an hour and a half of women that we had crushes on growing up.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's like for a cartoon, you know, if she was.
So if for some weird reason you like listening to us talk and you want more profanity and more politics, then check out our podcast From Here to Paternity, where we talk about what it is to be a dad in the modern age and, it's a good time. We have a lot of fun, and Joe is a masterful editor.
Oh,
So
yes.
Oh, well, when I can squeeze it in. But thank you guys.
Oh, and one we got one here on the wire is Bunny Colvin in the Wire.
Mm.
Oh,
yeah.
That's a good one.
Ooh, well done. Applaud you on that one.
So that's it. Thank you again, everybody. Especially thanks to Martial Arts Film Freak, and he gave me $20, and I already forgot his name.
Ooh.
I'm an awful human being. I'm the worst. Anyway, thank you all. And I'll see you. Let's see. Next week, I've got a review of Dark Star hitting my channel. And then in 2 weeks, I'm having another live stream, this time with Thrash and Ian and maybe Lance. He was talking about coming on. I have no idea what we're going to talk about, but
thanks to John Orchard.
Thank you, John Orchard. Thank you. I'm sorry I forgot your name. I will whip myself with a wet noodle later. So yeah, that's it. Have a good time. Or I had a good time.
Yeah, it was
whatever.
quite fun.
You know what?
Enjoyed it.
This is what for John Orchard. This is what we're gonna do. This time I get the remote. Okay. So if you want to understand that, go listen to our podcast.
Yes.
So have a good night, everyone.
All right.
Much love, y'all.
Bye.